3, Holden Geelong Cup. Brendan, the top weight is Show Barry. He would love to own a horse like this. He's so consistent. He's $10.90. Mr. Celebrity, $3.90 is still exceptional value given what's been bet shorter than they were betting earlier in the day, some 3 points shorter. 6.
She, of course, had not claimed provincial or country-wise for a long time.
Line camping back after the start, and one of the first out, Southern Crown. Showberry began out wide, Minute Work away quickly with Command and Conquer, and Just the Part, and Bicatti Royale is quickly pushing up on the inside. Bicatti Royale from on the outside, just Onagern 3 deep, then Kamsky, Don Rafael, and Mr. Celebrity last of all, the favourite at the 850. Bicatti Royale out in front in the cup, a length and a half to Southern Crown, then Command and Conquer. He's back along the inside from Showberry now third. Command and Conquer fourth, 2 lengths further back, going around the outside, Just the Part. Then Minute Work just held up for a run, a length Flag Raiser, Brave Lancer. Further back in the race then came Wild Classic. Mr. Celebrity still last, turning for home in the cup. Here's Showberry going up to Southern Crown. Around the turn at the 400 metre mark, and Showberry has hit the front from Southern Crown. Command and Conquer, Minute Work trying to get out. Then Just the Part, followed by Brave Lancer. Coming down to the 200, Showberry in front. On the outside, Command and Conquer, and Minute Work getting the split and wider out. Brave Lancer, Minute Work, Brave Lancer. Mr. Celebrity, Onagern flying home. Here's a great go. Brave Lancer's got it set in front. Flying is Onagern. Onagern, Brave Lancer, might be Onagern, a nose to Brave Lancer, nothing in it. Mr. Celebrity flashed home, and Minute Work is close up, and a great go. Then Schroganet further back in the race, Command and Conquer, followed by Showberry. Just called for the photo in the cup. Onagern, number 9, will get up and grab Brave Lancer on the line to gain the photo. Is the horse that won the Cranbourne Cup, I think it was, last year, raced by Phil McAvoy, who is the dad of the Kieran, KM and GP Moroney, Brendan, and this is
in the Geelong Cup for that pretty obvious bad stumble at the start. There must have been a problem in the stalls. 90 cents for third. The Quinella, $51.90. The Exactas, $102.90. And the Trifecta.
Gay Waterhouse said to us beforehand that the horse would now back up in the sub. Let's have a look at the horse. Brendan. It's in stall 5.
Down it goes the moment it came out. So one hind leg on the back of the stall. So.
Good evening, everyone. One-time favourite Plastered will miss the Melbourne Cup after being diagnosed with a foot abscess. The injury was...
Of the Cup cash is now expected to flow towards the corridor trained like a falcon. It's firm to equal favouritism with champion mare Makybe Diva.
Well, back, let's go out to Rob again in the ring for the latest.
Thanks very much, Bruce. There's been good money for number 12, Wieners. We're joined by Simon Beasley, also number 2, Accurate.
I Got Chills bounced very quickly towards the centre with Better Watch Out, and also Atomic Chili and Accurate Gun. Wiener is just off. Chills on the is Yellow Idol. Then Sabassa and Pinky last of all up before the turn. I Got Chills and Nick in front of Atomic Chili, a length and a half to Accurate Gun. Anticipation outside it. 3 lengths to Wiener. Further back, Better Watch Out and Snort. I Got Chills on the inside. Kicks on the turn. Races 2.5 in front. Of on the outside, running home fairly well into second placing. Anticipation, but the filly's flying in front. I Got Chills. Oh, she is the real deal. Look at her open up, and she sprints away and wins by 6 lengths. Could be a champion, this one. I Got Chills by 6 or 7. Anticipation second. Accurate Gun third. Then Wiener with Snort. A gap in the 58.9 on a slow track is a brilliant gallop. I Got Chills running right up to the outstanding performance at Flemington when she ran cracking time there up the straight on a firm track. Oh, this is frightening how good she could be. Here they are coming up to this as gets.
Well, Brian, she can go up the straight, she can go around corners, she can go on fast ground, she can go on slow ground. Whatever she does it pretty well. Shane, just astonishing.
Bruce, 30 years ago today, I've got a feeling we're watching another one.
Oh, well, Brian.
On David, his instructions were...
Mohammed bin Khalifa Al Maktoumi paid for his share of the value of $1 million for I Got Chills during the week. Put his colours on, got the prize again, beating Anticipation and Accurate Gun. Steve, well, she's won up the straight on firm ground. She's won around the corner on dead ground. She's pretty good.
Good judge, the Sheikh. Must have a smart racing manager. This filly has run quicker time than, of course, Virage de Fortune in the Moya or the Schweppervescence. That doesn't happen. And the track hadn't deteriorated to any great deal by the time they ran the open class sprint. That's phenomenal that she would run quicker time.
And quicker last 400.
What about I Got Chills? Did you get chills with that?
Well, I think I did.
I think I Got Chills is the most exciting 2-year-old I've seen in Melbourne in years and years and years. I think at this stage...
before Christmas, you know.
I know it is. I know it is. Very good. But you know what? I don't necessarily take any notice of before Christmas, but when you see one like this, seeing is believing.
Melbourne are just desperate.
The Victoria Derby, of course, last year Plastered won this race. Previous year Kempinski beat Elstrom. They reversed that placing at Flemington. Previously Helenis won this race. It won at Flemington.
It's really is becoming a key race, and it could be
on those four.
Any real substantial wages to this point?
Yeah, look, a couple of $10,000 bets on the 4 Benicio, and also a little bit of money for the 3 Manton.
Okay,
Set, racing. Mallorca missed the jump away down on the inside about 2 lengths, and Key Largo first out with Benicio. Danger looms. Escape Artist further out. Jewel is tucking in behind them. Beeman going 1 to go, and it's Jewel taking off quickly at the 8:50 turn. Jewel went up 3rd. Benicio is back 4th, followed by Key Largo. In the middle, Mallorca, and again Menton went back to the tail. Up the side, heading towards the 6:50, and it's Escape Artist just in front of Danger Looms, and moving up Jewel. Benicio 4 out, and Manton will have to come 5 wide. Key Largo trying to get a run, and he got up on the inside when the leader shifted ground, and Key Largo's got up on the inside, tackled by Jewel, and Manton coming around them. Further back than Escape Artist, Danger Looms, and Mallorca last of all coming for home, and Manton out wide. Key Largo the inside, back in the middle Jewel. They turn together 2.5 in front of Escape Artist. Great around the bend. Manton out wide, got his head in front of Jewel. Key Largo struggling. Manton ahead in front. Jewel coming back on the inside. Stride for stride. Manton and Jewel. Jewel is kicking again. Jewel again got its head in front of Manton. Then Benicio. And Jewel comes home to win. A half length on the line to Manton. 2 away 3rd is Benicio. Then Danger Looms. A gap in the race. Escape Artist. Mallorca blew the start, and dropping out Key Largo back at the tail.
Then McAvoy, and he popped out down the side there, getting the prize on Jewel, stalling off the Dow, Manton and Benicio, and Elstrom jewelled and turned it round in the Victoria Derby and Helenis the year before. Are these the B graders or the A graders?
I think they're the A minus. I think they rate behind the likes of Pendragon and Head Turner. Yesterday.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, he just wants a dry track Danger Looms. Simon, Karen McAvoy won this race when he popped out when the pace was really dawdling about the 1,000-metre mark.
Amy Vars, Jewelled and Manton. What do you think?
Yeah, look, Jewelled, look, he's bred to stay and he stays all day. You know, on paper it looks a second-level race coming into the Derby, but look, this horse will stick on all day, as his pedigree suggests, and he's a horse that can go forward, can sit back. I thought it was quite a nice trial.
I think the Derby's open.
Again for Gay Waterhouse, $3.80 you can see there on Super Tab. Much shorter, obviously, in New South Wales, where he comes from, $2.50. Bookies are betting $1.50 better than that.
Prison unbacked. Very good money for the favourite, segments number 5. And the owners of Barrage to Fortune have launched into it at the 4-to-1 level. So big money for Barrage to Fortune.
OK, thanks very much, Simon. He's kept very busy here on the rails.
Stalls are open, they're off this time. Wasn't printed away segments. Getting back with Proudly Aggro. First out, Barrage to Fortune, but Imprisoned has burnt up on the inside, and Imprisoned leads out now from Barrage to Fortune. 2 lengths further back, Super Elegant, followed by Dance Hero the middle. Miss Mooney the fence, 2 further back, Segment, and a length further back then. Proudly Aggro, the grey on the move around Super Elegant. Miss Mooney. A half then to Dance Hero, who had to ease, got checked there and dropped out to last, and Segments is back there with it. Up to the bend now, and it's Imprisoned, Barrage to Fortune, and 3 wide now, Proudly Aggro. Miss Mooney and Super Elegant waiting for runs. They've dropped off. Dance Hero and Segment struggling. Barrage to Fortune the outside, got its head in front of Imprisoned at the 200, 2.5, Miss Mooney. Then further back, Super Elegant, but the filly goes for home, and she's home, Barrage to Fortune. She sprints away now from Imprisoned, and Barrage to Fortune wins easily about 2.5. Miss Mooney got second, and neck 3rd is Imprisoned. A long gap to Dance Hero, is in trouble before the turn from Super Elegant. Further back then Proudly Aggro, and something must be amiss with this one. Segment's the favourite, never travelling. She's run tailed off. Barrage to Fortune with the 3-year-old filly's weight of only 49.5.
One of the more high-profile owners of this particular horse, Barrage to Fortune, is a man who doesn't mind having a bet. Sporting Bet's Michael Sullivan, and you got a bit of cash to play with now, haven't you?
Oh, Russell, please. We had something small on her. We're just very excited. It's nice. She's going out for a spell now. We can only think there was the
filly Barrage to Fortune beating Miss Mooney and Imprisoned, Steve, but there's a litany of disasters behind him. Super Elegant badly stripped, Dance Hero hung out throughout after a bad early check, and Segment's out of play early as well.
Yes, in fact, 1st, 2nd and 3rd were probably the only runners who did stay out of trouble segments pulled up with a part of regularity, the atrial fibrillation.
And I've explained to people in the past, it can be daunting straightening up. Got one blemish on its CV and they wanted to take it on yesterday. I'm glad they did.
Yeah, I dropped off because of the run down the straight, but she's a special filly.
Good evening, everyone. Jockey Glenn Boss believes victory in tomorrow's Cox Plate will be the icing on the cake of the career of Maccabi Diva. But Anthony Cummings, who saddles up 2 runners in the race, believes the short price favourite is vulnerable.
Cummings' 3-year-old Hotel Grand looking to emulate the deeds of last year's hero Savabeel, who, like Hotel Grand, won the Spring Champion Stakes on his way to the Cox Plate. Cummings' message clear when asked to compare the two.
Roger won't be happy, but I think his mile's better.
For Kiwi Raider Excellent, Anthony Cummings maintaining his stance. The mare's winless record at Moonee Valley is a genuine concern.
Well, she's got a marvellous record, and I'd love to have her in the stable. At 2,040 around the valley, I'm certain she's vulnerable.
You know, there's 6 or 7 great horses in the race, and I think the market's got it a little bit wrong.
If she's turned up, I don't think there's a horse that could beat her in the race.
But it seems usual, the last word belonged to Boss.
Yep, hope everyone has a great day and watch G-Boss go right off his head.
Damien Booth.
Before Maccabi Diva, she got out a quarter of a point to better than flip of the coin, and punters have rallied behind her, and she's now into the red with bookmakers. So certainly a very big, sizable bet. It was reported as someone came along and had 100,000 on her, and as I did mention, she's into the red now with bookmakers. Maccabi to Lad of the Manor, and then further down to the Bart Cummings trained 3-year-old God's Own, and both of those horses.
That's a pretty big lead, Shane. Maccabi Diva into the red in the betting ring. It's a massive move in a race of this stature.
Absolutely. I mean, I was of the P5 and was just going to dominate the betting from now on.
Immediately in the betting ring, the bookies pushed her out to quite a bit better than that $2.10, Bruce, but the big money's come now, and that's very close to the mark. Quickly to the board. She, well, 210 TOB-wise, around about that with the bookmakers. It was right down the bottom, the one I've been talking about all the time, Hotel Grand, $26 or around that TOB-wise, shorter with bookmakers, but the big money, big bets, $100,000 bets plus on Maccabi Diva already.
We'll keep the rest of Australia. This will complete a phenomenal story about a racehorse. If she happens to win the Cox Plate today after 2 3,200-metre Melbourne Cups as a 7-year-old mare at a 35th start with a history about being born and bred internationally, this is an amazing story. They have to make a film about it. You might produce it.
Busy there with the last word, but certainly Maccabi Diva has been very heavily supported here prior to the running of the Carlton Draft WS Cox Plate.
Field is ready. Racing in the Cox Plate. Left out in a good line too. One of the first out, Super Kid, Maccabi Diva eased out of the gates. Outback Prince began well. Here's Hotel Grand and Lateria, and getting up on the inside, Sky War from Gray's Inn. When they go down to the winning post and over on the inside, it's Desert War now taken on out wide by Hotel Grand, who'll take it up. And Hotel Grand goes to the front out of the straight. 2 lengths to Desert War to the outside. Then Lateria back to third from Gray's Inn. Super Kid fifth. 2 lengths for the back, Outback Prince, Ladder the Man of the Rail. A length for the back, Fields of Omar, the inside, Sky Cutter, 1 Confectioner. 2 to Maccabi Diva, 3 behind it. The Japanese horse, Tosin Dandy, God's Own and Excellent last of all. Going down inside the 1,400-metre mark, and it's Hotel Grand nearly a length in front. On the outside, Desert War, second, a length and a half. Lateria went up third. Super Kid is fourth on the inside, 2 to Gray's Inn running fifth. Ladder the Manor, 6 the inside, 2 for the back, Outback Prince. Sky Cutter inside, a length and a half, Fields of Omar. 2 behind it, Confectioner, 2 Maccabi Diva. 1.5 further back than God's Own from Tosin Dandy, and Excellent is last of all. 1,000 metres to go, and it's Hotel Grand a half in front. Desert War on the outside of it, 2.5 further back, Lateria. They've slowed the speed now, followed by Super Kid fourth. Gray's Inn is fifth at the 850, a length the Lad of Manor. 1 to Outback Prince, followed by Sky Cuddle. Fields of Omar comes out 3 deep and 4 wide as Confectioner. Maccabi Diva getting up behind it. Excellent is coming very wide on the outside, then Tosin Dandy coming up to the 650-metre mark. mark now. Desert War going up to Hotel Grand. Excellent. God's Owner very wide around the outside with Maccabi Diva, Fields of Omar, and they're all taking off at the 550 metre mark. A wall of horses around the outside. Coming up to the bend at the 450 metre mark now. Lateria, Fields of Omar, and Maccabi Diva joining in on the outside. Then Desert War. Further back, Confectioner. It's Maccabi Diva, Fields of Omar, and Lateria. Well, the great mares hit the front. Maccabi Diva from Lateria. Fields of Omar fighting back, but it's Maccabi Diva in front of Lateria. Fields of Omar coming back in the middle, but Maccabi Diva, she's the champ. She wins the Cox Plate. 3/4 Lateria. A great run by Fields of Omar ahead away third. Then Sky Cuddle further back, then Ladder the Matter. A gap then further back in the field. Toast and Dandy, Super Kid, followed by God's Own, Confectioner. Then Desert War, excellent outback. God's Own are very wide around the outside with Maccabi Diva, Fields of Omar, and they're all taking off at the 550 metre mark. A wall of horses around the outside. Coming up to the bend at the 450 metre mark now. Lateria, Fields of Omar, and Maccabi Diva joining in on the outside. Then Desert War. Further back, Confectioner. It's Maccabi Diva, Fields of Omar, and Lateria. Well, the great mares hit the front. Maccabi Diva from Lateria. Fields of Omar fighting back, but it's Maccabi Diva in front of Lateria. Fields of Omar coming back in the middle, but Maccabi Diva, she's the champ. She wins the Cox Plate. 3/4 Lateria. A great run by Fields of Omar ahead away third. Then Sky Cuddle further back, then Ladder the Matter. A gap then further back in the field. Toast and Dandy, Super Kid, followed by God's Own, Confectioner. Then Desert War, excellent. Outback Prince. Hotel Grand, and Brays in is last of all. The champion comes home to win the Cox Plate. Maccabi Diva rates up now with the all-time greats. Joins the elite in taking out the WS Cox Plate number 12.
And that she is. Champion. Tony said he bought a Cox Plate. He bought Farlap's famous one. The 1931. He paid a lot of money for it. He's been offered twice as much and he's won his own today. Melbourne Cups and a Cox Plate. No horse has ever won 2 Melbourne Cups and a Cox Plate in the history of Australian racing until this mare has done it today.
And she goes past Sunline's record of the richest stake-winning racehorse in Australasia. Maccabi Diva, 2 Melbourne Cups, a record-breaking Australia Cup in the autumn, and now the Grand Poobah when you talk about
Melbourne Cup winner to a Cox Plate and a win.
As big as it gets for me, yeah. I mean, this is going to be something that was supposed to happen for so long. I'm getting a bit tongue-tied now. The time ticked away very slowly. But she's such a great horse. I mean, I don't think this country's seen a better horse in the last 30 or 40 years anyway. She really deserves her place up there with the greatest that we've ever seen now. Well, there's no horse will ever repeat that 2 Melbourne Cup, Sydney Cup, BMW, Australian Cup, Cox Plate. Some sort of training performance. You're a modest man.
10-6. What can you say? I've never seen a Cox Plate like it at the 600 metre mark. I'd love to see the head-on action out there. How wide were these horses coming? And it was just an absolute wall of horses, Bruce. I've never seen it in probably the 35 years I've been coming here.
Well, Brian, I looked up at the big screen. After the Cups, you think you can't top it, but oh my God, I'm so thankful just to be a small part of this great mare's career. There's nothing she can't do, I tell you. It's freaky what she does.
Glenn, you say 100. How did you feel? Was you confident then?
I was confident about the bed. Lee just said to me, don't get there too late. I knew if I got there at about the 250, 300, they weren't going to catch her because nothing comes from behind and beats her.
Now what about...
You won, well done.
My word.
Lee Friedman, as Maccabi Diva comes back, ladies and gentlemen, get up and say well done to the champ.
They're great shots. As Glenn Boss comes back to scale. Lee Friedman clapping this mare. She's now won $11.4 million in prize money. She's Australia's leading prize money earner. Glenn Boss has only won 6 races on this, but what about this, Shane? 2 Melbourne Cups, 1 Australian Cup, 1 Sydney Cup, a BMW, and now a Cox Plate.
Look, words fail me about this mare now. I've never seen a galloper advance like it over the past 2 years. She's now she's now gone past Sunline. She's gone past Northerly. These are recent champions I'm talking about too. We're not going back into the archives. I don't know. I think we'll have to sit down at the end of this spring carnival, maybe after she wins another Melbourne Cup, and then reassess exactly where we put all the champions in order. And I think we might be very surprised to see them sitting right up in the top 2 or 3.
In the last 20 years, only
6. The champion, and you can certainly use that word, number 10, Maccabee Diva, $2.10 and $1.40. Number 12, Lotteria, $8.50. Number 6, Fields of Omar, $2.60.
Korea. For master trainer Lee Freeman, the result was the perfect tonic after losing Mummify in last week's Caulfield Cup.
But she's such a great horse. I mean, I don't think this country's seen a better horse in the last 30 or 40 years anyway.
Now, drop a bit, but you just feel a surge underneath, and it was like, come on, bring it on. And she put them away within a couple hundred metres. Is quite awesome.
Mate, I'd like to take
some sort of run, mate.
She ran well. I mean, it's probably the best run of her career, really. I mean, she relaxed lovely in the run, had a beautiful posse, and she was there right when it counted, but they're just beaten by a superstar on the day. But no
game, really class mare, but she was just beaten by the best. You know, Mackay Diva just took off at the 4.5, and they were travelling 13.5 seconds. She puts the button and went to 8.25 seconds. You know, they don't usually change the sectionals that quickly.
As a rival,
it's a very, very special mare, because not only does she do it on the track, but she just keeps doing it on the racetrack.
Is she the best you've seen?
Well, look, it's a long time since the likes of Tulloch, but, you know, when you go back to a horse like Kingston Town, you know, he certainly excited the nation, just like Mackay Diva's doing now. I suppose about every 30 years it happens now.
And she's now won $11.4 million. Mackay Diva, Glenn Boss, Lee Freedman. She ran the favourite, heavily backed even money, beat Lateria, who was brilliant. Steve, a quick summation of the Cox Plate, away from Mackay Diva.
Well, the bottom line, Bruce, was the tempo, 120.5 for the first 1,240. In Sunline's years, they ran 117.5. When Might and Power won the Cox Plate, he ran 115.5. They crawled. Brilliant ride from G-Boss to get going when he did. He had to do it. And it was, we saw that picture. It wasn't a great picture as they're fanning.
11 horses down the side, 8 under pressure. As you point out, it's the slowest Cox Plate since Strawberry Road in '83, and it was an absolute bog that year when Strawberry Road won it. But who cares? The best horse won.
They did that last year, and
the
best horse won.
They did that last year, and
I'm not indulging in hyperbole here. I firmly believe this. Farlap, Carbine, Burnborough, Tulloch, Kingston Town, Mackay Diva. She is legendary now.
You're getting excited, Stevie, early.
She is. Look, she's now on that level. And with apologies to Might and Power, he's nearly sneaking into that level as well. But you compare what she's done to the horses that we've lauded in the last couple of years, Sunline and Northerly, she's clearly superior in terms of wins in distance range, versatility, track condition, turn of foot. She is an amazing racehorse.
And who's to think what she's still...
Lateria had every possible chance, and I still wouldn't want to back Lateria in a 2,000-metre race.
Simon, look at Boss here. What a position to be in a Cox Plate.
Well, it's a great opportunity in a Cox Plate to have a sniff of the Rexona in the right and the left armpit when you're just about to sneak in front. Fields of Omar and the Gold Cap on the left-hand side. Here, she just takes over, changes stride, and she just clicks into another gear. And Glenn said she bottomed out. She was entitled to bottom out because they levelled out at the... they started levelling out at the 700-metre mark. But she's got the ability to cruise up at the top of the straight, and you're able to make 2 runs on a horse to superimpose naturalism and so forth. You're rating this mare the best horse you've ever trained, and probably arguably you'll ever train.
Well, she's so reliable. That's the thing. You put her in these races at the highest level, you do the best job you can, and I don't think I did the best job I could with her yesterday. I thought she was a little bit underdone, and she still won a Cox Plate, so that's how great a horse it is.
It's a big call from you, Lee, to be saying that. Why do you say
that? You know, Farlap, Carbine, Burnborough, Tulloch, Mackay Diva, and I'm not exaggerating. I think she's at that sort of level now. What do you feel about that?
Well, that's high praise from you because you're a pretty hard marker, but I feel the same way. She's in the top 5 or 6 horses ever raced here.
And from a market people at home, why, if she does happen to pull up well, and if she does run in a 3,200-metre Melbourne Cup after a Cox Plate, why you think she probably could do it?
Well, it's just a superior athlete. I mean, you're talking about the Carl Lewis of horses, or, you know, Jesse Owens or whatever. She's just got the great winning way about her. She's a great athlete. She's got great heart, lung capacity. She can make a 5-furlong run in a race, but no horse can do that. 59 in the Melbourne Cup's a huge ask of any horse, but I wouldn't rule her out.
Was the Diva Makybe Diva Hughes has joined us this morning. With all that
from New Zealand, it was fantastic. Stephen King.
I haven't got my glasses on.
Yesterday, words can't describe it. She's an absolute champion, and boy, oh boy, what a race it was. If that's not a high-pressure race, I've never seen one.
Okay.
Yeah, I've worn it.
Are you happy now?
This contract can't come quickly enough. Ronnie, a surprise result in the Derby.
Ron, on that point of the Cox Plate, we haven't really discussed the Beaton Brigade in that. God's Own.
God's Own cracked under pressure. Yep. He was the first one to make...
should. I mean, he's in his first preparation, and, you know, he's trying to go with horses like Makybe Diva and Excellent and Confectioner and that. These are hard old nuts. I know you know plenty...
on other horses there, what about Loud of the Manor?
Had no luck, did he? Yeah. Had no luck. He just got shuffled back at the wrong stage, and I thought his effort was excellent. Letteria's run the race of her life. Fields of Omar, gallant in defeat, the old one.
Now, I don't want to...
Half-mile, 1,000-metre sprint home, it really played into her hands because she's got the best stamina out of all of them. And, you know, I've never seen a race like that in my life where I've seen 10 across the track like that so far from home, in a circle race anyway.
You would have liked to have been G Boss because he was dead set looking around, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, as soon as he got out in the clear and was able to fight off the pressure from the horses around him, she was the one you always wanted to be on.
Graham, just a bit of news.
Well, another terrific betting race here. Bookmakers sort of looking to come up for breath at this stage, but they've gone for Nick and Nero and Miss Potential. Nick and Nero and Miss Potential, the 1 and the 5 there. Good money round for Lords of Leaping. Also a bit of money for Cargo Colt. And
certainly late money for Miss Potential and Nick and Nero, and a horse that he mentioned at odds, number 7, Saxon Bruce.
Okay, thanks very much, Rob. Colin Olson joined us, of course.
To go for the Waterford Crystal Mile. They're racing now, and Miss Potential on the inside bounced in front of Storm Attack, Cargo Colt Umber. Further back was Conchula settling now from Noble Red, wider out with Modem, and Lieutenant is very, very wide out on the track settling. Getting back as Lord's Elite Hero. 600 out, up the side they come. Lieutenant, Miss Potential. They're not going hard. They're following a length into Modem. Storm Attack gets up on the inside as Miss Potential leaves the rail, and Storm Attack gets a run right up on the inside to go up and put its head near the lead with Lieutenant back in the middle. Miss Potential, a length Modem. They crank the speed up now on the turn. 300 to go. Storm Attack, Miss Potential and Lieutenant. 3 of them up in front now from Cargo Colt getting out. He's coming to the outside from Noble Red, and Nick and Nero's come from last right up on the inside. He's rattling home. Nick and Nero going after Miss Potential, Storm Attack and Cargo Colt. Nick and Nero's going to win the Waterford Crystal. He's come from last to beat Cargo Colt a length. A length in third, Miss Potential from Storm Attack. Lords are leaping. Umber Conchula followed further back by Noble Red. Saxon a gap to Lieutenant, and Modem is tailed off.
Well, it's great to see good racing, and a mare like that. Unfortunately, I'm competitive and she beat me, but it's a pleasure getting beaten like a horse like her.
Well, that's from a beaten jockey, and that's how much they really appreciate Makybe Diva.
Yeah, Craig Williams getting the 3 votes there on Nick and Nero for David Hayes. A big day for David on his 43rd birthday betting. He wanted to get out there on the home turn, get on the back of something, but fate proved his saviour.
Yes, it was an interesting ride. He was certainly angling out, Simon. Wasn't he to come around them, or as Simon said off air, looking for something to track him into the race? Yeah. Cut back, they've all got off the fence. We can see the vision now. You could drive a semi through there.
There's no doubt about that Storm Attack there. Miss Potential's run up to her mark. Lieutenant dropped off. Cargo Colt getting to the outside under vigorous riding of Peter Mertens. But I'll tell you something, Craig Williams, nothing was going to take him into the race. He had to go back inside Noble Red, and momentum. This horse really picked himself up quick. And folks, the reason they were getting off the fence at this time of the day, being race 8, is because there'd been a lot of traffic on the inside track at Moonee Valley. They got a little bit, the horse is ridden better, settled back with a late run as such, because he was out facing the breeze 3 deep in the Toorak last start, and he just got beat by barely a moment by 1.2 lengths. So terrific run. That's the best way to ride the horse. He needs a little bit of luck though.
He owed those colours a good ride, and he gave it one today. Fantastic ride, and congratulations to Craig. He had a very good day and bounced back.
How far can that horse go, Dave?
Look, I think he's a genuine Group 1 horse, and I think a race like the Emirates on final day, it's been a lucky race for the stable.
Yeah. And much better than what the tote price is showing. Second favourite. King Charles opened up quite short, has drifted a point. Probably still best on the tote, just by a fraction
at the moment from the bookmakers' prods. Bookmakers betting a lot less than what his current tote price is showing. So Pearl in the favourite, he isn't.
Hey, traffic, we got...
Very nice. Okay, we're advertising there from Mike Moroney. Mike, good luck.
Thank you.
Mike.
Racing. Left out in a good line too. One of the first out today, Gazu Chief jumped out in front. Bazelle going up quickly second from Serira and Buller, and further back Visvate. Then King Jack, Irish Crusader, 2 to go. And he's back to second last, and 2 lengths to Garadar last of all. At the turn at the 850 metre mark, and Mbula about a half in front of Bazelle. Then Winkler third from Gazu Chief fourth. Serira about to come out fifth. The length further back, Kinjal. One's gone amiss. Visvate has broken down. Visvate has gone amiss badly and has been pulled up out of the race. Up the side, 650 metres to go, and it's Mbula, Bazelle, Gazu Chief and Kinjal has gone around the outside from Irish Crusader. Further back than Serira. Where's Pearl? And he's a fair way back as they come up to the turn. He's back second to third last. He can't win from there. Kinjal going quickly now to Bazelle and Mbula. Travelling well. Kinjal has gone up to Bazelle and Mbula. 2 or 3 further back Serira. Then further back Irish Crusader, but out very wide Kinjal just in front of Bazelle and Mbula coming back. Kinjal out deep. Coming at it again. Bazelle and Mbula over on the inside. Mbula and Bazelle, they've come back to Kinjal. It's Mbula kicking with on the outside. Bazelle and Mbula. Mbula wins it a short head to Bazelle. Kinjal 30 had the race, 1 on the turn. Then further back Serira, followed by Sawyer Cowboy, Irish Crusader. Well, unless I'm going mad, if it wasn't going to win easily on the home turn, Kinjal, I'll turn it up. He canted up to these two, Bazelle and
Pacific Airways Cup.
And yet another little sidelight story to the day, and always great to see Noel.
And out the back there was Pearl, and spoken to Lloyd Williams this morning, heavily back favourite. Pearl is going to the paddock. He is out of the Melbourne Spring Carnival as well. So Pearl out. If you had a ticket on Kinjal on the home turn, you would have just lined up a couple of bottles of the cold stuff on ice, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. He was Blinker's first time yesterday. I thought that might have aided him, but he was disappointing in that sense that he looked to have the race won. He didn't quite finish it off. I have reservations about this form. The last 20 years, I think 18 Moonee Valley Cup winners have run in the Melbourne Cup for one winner, Kingston Rule. I'm happy to risk it as a Melbourne Cup form guy.
Let's hear from the Melbourne Cup, and let's work through some from the top here. Makybe Diva, $3, 5 to 2, the Melbourne Cup favourite, and no guarantee to get your money a run, Ken.
Look, I still think it's under the odds. No one's got a bigger opinion of Makybe Diva than me. I've been saying in McCullough for 3 months. She was...
The debacle at Geelong, more on that with Kenny shortly. Diesel confirmed a run, D. Bevan. Portland Singer had a trial on Friday with a one-eye blinker. Larry Cassidy said that didn't work.
Inclination is to runner. There is an inclination, but it's by no means over the line yet.
But Freedman has warned Makybe Diva's task to win a history-making third cup is bigger than people think. Conceding the weather, but more significantly the mare's handicap of 58 kilos remain his biggest concerns.
You know, I don't want people thinking that just because she's going to start, she's immoral, because with 58 kilos and the weight she's going to have to give away, there's no certainty. No horse has been able to do it in 150 years, so if we did decide to attempt it, it's going to be very difficult. And I don't want any recriminations from anybody if she happens to fail.
Damien Booth.
There's a record for the Derby. It breaks last year's record by about 100. It is the 4th biggest crowd ever at Flemington. 4th biggest crowd behind 3 Melbourne Cup crowds.
Shortly, Rubichon at $5.60 holds favouritism over Testifiable at $5.90. Much better interstate Testifiable. Down to Leather and is short on the tote here on Super Tabs. Always been solid interstate.
Eamon Opta began quickly down to the inside, away quickly Paternity. Further out in the track, Letter of Intent and also Market Maestro. They're going up towards the front. Settling stand from Testifiable and Denmark at last of all. Inside the 700 before the home turn they come, and the leader still is Opta down on the inside from Letter Intent. Deregulates at a tough run on the outside. Market Maestro, Airstream right behind them. The run's there for Airstream when they straighten up. In the straight now, and Airstream going up to Opta. Further out Deregulate. Letter of Intent under pressure. Testifiable's running on fairly well and getting up on the inside, Saint Vesuvio. 300 metres to go. Airstream, Testifiable coming at it from Opta and then Saint Vesuvio, but Testifiable. He's hit the front now at the 180 metre mark. This is
is over. He's sprinting away now from Airstream. Fujiishi San is making up good ground, but Testifiable, straight as a gun barrel today, wins 2 lengths. Second is Sanders, would have been Fujiishi San.
Testifiable came from last with a good ride by...
Yes, he's certainly got it. He sprinted away like the old form that we knew that he had. He's just been lapsed.
So it's Testifiable. Luke Knoll and Peter Moody, $6.20 and $2.50 beat 5. Fujiishi San, $7.40.
Appointments here, including Rubishon, Steve, but this horse has always shown the ability. I think Pete Moody threatened to remove some manly goods from Testifiable if things didn't go to plan yesterday, and obviously the horse listened.
Yes, well, he has a reprieve, and it was a great ride from Luke Nolan. He certainly had the best run in the race. They went very quickly. In fact, they went faster than the mares in the Maya Classic later in the day. So it was good overall time. The winner was impressive.
You can see it back in the fence there, the white with the nose roll, just waiting for a run. The gap's just opened up for him, Steve.
They certainly did. He's tracking through there behind Airstream with St. Vesuvio and the red cap pushing up between the two leaders. His run was solid, and Fujiishi San is not in the picture as yet. Now we see him with the white blaze. Stephen King aboard, and he's back on track. He's given Bill Mitchell plenty of nightmares, this horse, Fujiishi San, but his run was sound. He was the one horse from back in the field to make ground.
Rubishon ran favouring us that you don't want to be part of Queen of the Hill here. $1.80 on Super Tab. You can find that bookies will bet you black figures. It's also been a little move for Stratum though, Brendan.
Nibble for Stratum, as we said earlier in the preview of this race. Front of Ferocity. Queen of the Hill is behind Stratum, then came Putty Tat, and Jet Spur still with cover yet to hook out. On the course proper now with 4:50 to run. Stratum in front. The Golden Slipper winner. He's clear by a length and a half. Ferocity and Queen of the Hill on the rail. Boss is yet to go for Jet Spur. He gives Stratum 2.5, but he's clicking him up now. Then came Putty Tat. Stratum in front at the 2:50 from Ferocity. Jet Spur's coming with a big run on the outside, but Stratum's kicking. Queen of the Hill's getting into the clear late. Stratum in front. Jet Spur is coming at him strongly. Still in front, Stratum. Jet Spur. Queen of the Hill is flying late. Jet Spur hit the lead from Stratum. Queen of the Hill, Jet Spur. Jet Spur's just won it from either Queen of the Hill or Stratum.
Jet Spur, Glenn Boss carrying a big weight.
Jet Spur looming very gamely outside Ferocity. Callum put up a fight, and he did, but Jet Spur grabbed him. Queen of the Hill has come at 8 races previously, but boy, she should have won.
Terry, I think that's probably the best thing beaten I've seen in probably 3 or 4 years, Queen of the Hill. I'm not talking through in the pocket, but if you're watching that, and obviously people are, that mare, the second filly, she should have won by 3 lengths, no doubt at all. She was just an absolute, got as close as she has. Nothing away from the winner. He had to carry the big weight today, but goodness gracious, the second filly should have canted it.
Okay, then. Good riding, firstly by Steve Arnold on Ferocity, Brendan. Let's have a look at this here. You can see Callow back. He's in front, there's no room there, and Boss is just smart enough to not go. He's got a horse with plenty of weight, and he knows he's got the danger inside him.
You'll hear jockeys talk all the time about waiting until the clock tower to make their move at Flemington, and that's exactly what Boss did. He held Queen of the Hill in the zip fastening pocket on Jet Spur.
This was here, but I gather he didn't have a smile on his face after Queen of the Hill's run today, or maybe not the run, the ride.
Very, very worked up, Lee Freedman, after that ride. I'll tell you what will be an interesting reunion will be when Noel Callow steps out to get aboard Benicio for Lee in the Derby. Noel was furious, and Lee had one little go and then waited outside the jockeys for chapter 2.
OK, thanks, Adam. We'll catch you later in the day.
Bill, an easing favourite, ran even money. Jet Spur in from 480 into that quote 390. Stratum, Greg Childs third, 650. Lee Freedman said politely, serious pilot error. Noel Callow agreed. He just got horribly wrong early, didn't he, Steve?
Well, the mistake, Bruce, was not pushing up to hold the inside and hold the fence and lead. Once he'd conceded that to Stratum, and he could easily have maintained the lead there early, that was the difference between winning and losing. 4 pretty good 3-year-olds here. You see Queen of the Hill in the red and black stripes on the fence. Noel has to ease here. That's fatal in a 1,200-metre race down the straight. She's conceded probably a length or so there. She really finds the line, and this performance convinced me that she's top class. Up until yesterday, I had some doubts. I didn't think the evidence...
By the second clause on the elimination order, but Confectioner has been well supported, getting ideal conditions today. Showing at the tote $5 even on
shorter
track,
on
a little
course.
shorter, yeah.
Has firmed 40 cents here on course. Mr. Celebrity 250. That's bang on with what the bookies are betting.
Bigger quote on track. Would have appreciated a shower or 2 overnight. That didn't have...
Not much of a run to the first corner here. You want to be in a good position early.
Confectioner 4-8.
A couple of attendants are in there with Uprise. She's just holding up proceedings. She stands correctly now, but attendants all around her. They're away. Mr. Celebrity jumped well. Uprise missed the start by about a length and a half. Natural Blitz is being booted out of the stalls in the early part, and Wide Zacello's pressing on too. Command and Conquer is up there. Mr. Celebrity getting back about midfield or so along the rails. Zacello going to the lead at the turnout of the straight. He's in front of Command and Conquer. Strasbourg deeper out goes. Zacello had the lead by a length to Strasbourg. 2 lengths away, Bush Honey. Half a length into Don Rafael the outside. Mr. Celebrity biding his time on the rail as Rise On continues his move around Command and Conquer. Dazelle awkwardly placed on the fence coming to the turn. Uprise pulls out wide as they swing around the bend, and they're followed by Envoy. Confectioner still second or third last and being niggled at. He's got the job ahead. Zacello led for home. Strasbourg's coming after him. 2.5 down to Bush Honey. She's in the clear. She's got every reason to run on. 3 lengths behind them, Mr. Celebrity, followed by Dazelle. Past the 300. Strasbourg took the lead. Bush Honey only a length away. 2.5, Mr. Celebrity. He's trying hard, but he's got 3 lengths to make up. He's lifting with 100 to go. Strasbourg in front of Bush Honey. She can't get there. Strasbourg, Bart's going to have a runner. Strasbourg wins it by a length and a quarter to Bush Honey. A nick away, Mr. Celebrity third. Every Hope, and then Dazelle, followed by Kempsky and Command and Conquer with Zacello, and then Confectioner, who ground home but not good enough. Next to finish was Leicester.
Was to go Zacello, tackled by Strasbourg, who travels better. 2 lengths to Bush Honey. Then came Mr. Celebrity down the middle. Then Dazelle, Confectioner back there at the inside with Kempsky. Strasbourg got to the front. Bush Honey coming at it. Now Mr. Celebrity starting to pick up. He's 2 lengths off them though. Strasbourg and on the outside Bush Honey. 2 of Bart's are fighting it out from Mr. Celebrity. Strasbourg comes back in front. He's holding them, and Strasbourg wins just for the Bush Honey. Ahead away third, every chance Mr. Celebrity. Then Dizelle fourth. Then Zacello.
Battling away with this horse for a long time, and he come good.
He was always a very promising horse as a younger horse. What problems have you had with him?
He had a bow tendon, he had corns, and well, you name the problem. I think he's had it, but we persevered with him, and they all told me, and the jockeys, everyone rode him, he's no good unless he gets a wet track. So look out when we get a wet track, because he's all right today.
55 to 1 to...
Well, the owners and Bart here with me at the moment, and it's always nice to talk to Bart and the jockeys, but...
Pretty qualified and gets a run. Danny Beasley ran favourite, but disappointing. Steve, are the Saab quality horses got any hope of winning on Tuesday?
None whatsoever, Bruce, for mine. That form's simply not good enough. Yesterday's race was a joke. They ran 1:41.9 early, which was about 7 seconds slower than the Derby. The on-pacers dominated the race. Yes, can.
That's a bit later on, but the overall time was quite slow. Strasbourg put himself up on the speed and out-sprinted him in the straight. But there's a couple of wonderful Melbourne Cup trials behind it.
Okay. See, I can't wear... if Mr. Celebrity can't handle them, I'll give up. But I wouldn't completely underestimate Mr. Celebrity. Maybe it's all come to him too quick. Yeah. He's a class animal. Yeah. No. Look, I don't think anyone...
Does it have to lift from its third yesterday?
It does, because this is such a high-quality Melbourne Cup. Now, Mr. Celebrity drops 5.5 kilos. The way the race was run didn't have very much chance of catching them. He's got a really good pedigree for 1.5 miles, this horse. Whether he runs the 2 miles is another question. But he's a Group 1 weight for age winner with 49.5. If the handicap had another go at this race, this is one horse that would get an extra couple of kilos, and I think he's very, very well in. He's the lightweight chance in the race. I'd be surprised if...
The Wakeful Stakes, there the totes on screen, 16 minutes away. The favourite clearly is Astronomia. The $2.10 on Super Tab is just about what the bookies are betting. Opened up in the red, into the black figures now, but only just, and is a clear favourite ahead of 7 Empress Lily.
See here, Astronomia, $2.10. She dominates the betting. 6 track, it's about 3 points shorter. It's the one that's been the firmer on track, and it certainly is the horse that is ranked.
And they're racing at the 2000, and Beauty Watch straight out the back at the start. Benko jump well, but Boss grabs hold. Astronomia finds the lead, but not for long. Serenade Rose comes over with Windy Cape and Kayambi, and they're the leading few as they settle down. And Astronomia just wanting to fight the rider a little bit here. Beatman has the lead on the inside. She kicks up and holds out Kayambi, who does a fair bit of work before crossing over. Serenade Star and Daiichi was last up towards the bend. Kayambi and Lemon Bitters being joined by Zanata. Astronomia badly in need of a run is on the rails fourth from Serenade Rose, and wider on the track as Windy Cape. An assertive guest is coming on. Empress Lily is trying to weave through the field as they swing for home. Down towards the 400, Kayambi the leader from Lemon Bitters. Astronomia trying for a run. There's the gap for the favourite now. Then Zanata and Serenade Rose is coming down the outside, nearing the 200 metres. Astronomia kicks through on the inside and took the lead. Serenade Rose is coming home down the outside of big danger. Astronomia a neck in front of Serenade Rose. Serenade Rose is going home the better. She takes the lead, and Serenade Rose won it well by a half a length to Astronomia. Third is Sonata a length away. Their trailed assertive guest Lemon Bitters held on well, and Zanami out wider. Back behind them and all that jazz. Then trailed Empress Lily. Daiichi making a little Kayambi. Astronomia is coming through in the centre, running on Zanata and Serenade Rose wide out. Here comes Astronomia. Beedman hit the go button at the 200 and she burst to the front. Serenade Rose is giving chase doggedly. Serenade Rose going after Astronomia at the 100. Serenade Rose put a nose in front of Astronomia. Zanata. Serenade Rose, she's nothing but gallant and she wins the Wakeful Stakes. Serenade Rose beat Astronomia and Zanata. Here's Anami from the field.
Her form's been outstanding. She's paid $14 for the win.
Starts a price every time.
You know what it takes to have an Oaks filly. Does she stack up to the best you've had?
Look, I wouldn't have said so early in the season, but you can't knock her form. She's won the Manifold, she's won the Wakeful, third in the Guineas. She's the Oaks filly, I think.
Well done, best of...
The Wakeful into the
game filly.
And there's the totes on screen for Serenade Rose. Lee Freedman having won this race back with favourite, and Zanata, who was pretty good yesterday. In the last 20 years, 9 horses have gone on from the Wakeful to win the Oaks. Another 4 have been played. Steve, it's the right race, and well, I think you can even make a case now for Zanata from yesterday's performance, but the first 3 yesterday look the ones for Thursday.
They certainly do, Bruce. Zanata did a little work early, pushing forward. The pace slowed, which certainly suited Serenade Rose. Stephen King was very decisive from gate 15 and found himself with the run of the race. Terrific effort from Stephen. Astronomia was solid, albeit a touch disappointing. The only horse from the back probably was Izanami, who did make late ground last 800, 46.3, which was competitive with the first 3. But Serenade Rose, she's got all the right form.
Oh, she's only a little puppy too. She's, you know, look at her against Astronomia.
Our Group 1's the Maya Classic. Number 1 is the defending champion here, Brendan. She's the filly who beat Alingi last year. She's Miss Potential from New Zealand. Glenn Boss rode the horse last year, Brendan.
$7.30.
$7.30 for it. It's a double-figure chance in the ring. It's been quite easy in the betting ring. They're the others there. Lateria, very easy on course. 4.30 is about right. Shania Dane, 5.60 is about right. But the plonk here is, of course, $5.40 as they start to move in. That's Lyrical Bit going in. 15.
A lot more, because if you win this as a mare, you are priceless when it comes to retiring and going on to be a broodmare at the end of your racing days.
Well on the inside of Frard began okay, so did Vitesse Dane, and Miss Potential is being bustled out of the barrier stalls, very hard to try and cross, and she finds a lead. As they settle down, Lateria is up there as well, but past the 1400, and last year's winner, Miss Potential, set up 2 lengths now to Hidden Strings to second. About Hands Toy and Hollow Bullet together. They were being followed by Infinite Grace, 2 to She's Just a Tad, who's third last as they sweep to the corner. Behind her is Dia, and Ike Stream is last of all. Miss Potential at the 600 leads from Hidden Strings of Fra, and Lyrical Bid right behind them, 4th on the inside, followed then by out wider then is Sky Love trying to come into the picture. Lateria just held up with Shania Dane when they balance for home now. She's got to the outside now, Lateria, past the 400 metres, and Hidden Strings is out after Miss Potential, who still had a kick, and she kicked away by 2. Here's Lateria starting to give chase. Miss Potential, something to run down here. She's out by 2 lengths. Lateria's driving hard after her now. Miss Potential tackled by Lateria, then Shania Dane. Lateria's going home the better, and Lateria beat Miss Potential in the Group 1. Third is Shania Dane. Kelvin ran 4th from Hollow Bullet, and then She's Just a Tad who made ground, and so did Deer out wide, and then Johann's Toy, Hidden Strings, Infinite Grace, followed by Ike Stream, Sky Love, Lyrical Bid, and Love to the outside. Then Lateria getting out. Vitesse Dane
Dain back to the fence. Down the outside, Calvin, Hollow Bullet, and further back then Chewy Song. And also at the head of the others, Johann's Toy, but Miss Potential at the 200-metre mark, sprinted away. She's 3 in front. Lateria starting to peck her back quickly, though. Lateria's racing up to Miss Potential. Then Shania Dain from Calvin. Lateria's got to Miss Potential, and Lateria, the favourite, comes home 3/4 to Miss Potential. Shania Dain third, Calvin fourth. Then Hollow Bullet, followed by She's Just a Tad and Day. Further back in the race.
A great performance, training performance by Gay Waterhouse to have Lateria back from, of course, the great second last week in the Cox Plate to winning this week. Yeah, gives Gay Waterhouse and Larry Cassidy the Maya Classic, beating Miss Potential. Brave run hit, Reece Jones $10 and Shania Dain, Darren Beedman $5. Well, the form is there for all to see. Lateria and the bookmakers could say, here's $4.60 to back this good thing.
Which was quite extraordinary, Bruce, coming off that Cox Plate performance. The two best performed mares ran 1-2. It was a great race. It went according to the script. I think Reece Jones might have been a touch.
Red cap and the gold armbands. There's nice speed up front. I thought Shania she didn't get out. She getting a tight run now in the lilac colours, just inside Lateria there. She probably needs to get out a little bit earlier than that to hit her straps. But look, taking nothing away from this mare, she is phenomenal. She goes past the $2 million mark now, and she's a worthy winner of that Group 1 Maya. But Miss Potential was...
Great performance in the Cox Plate.
Yeah, she put herself up again yesterday. Lotteria, there's only been 2 fillies in the last, 3-year-old fillies in the last 10 years who returned a higher rating than Lotteria did when she won the Flight Stakes, and they were Sunline and Alingi. Wow. And I've been waiting for Lotteria to, you know, step up, and I actually backed it in the Cox Plate. And she's been most underrated, and she's been a chopping block a lot. You know, I wonder why she's always in front, because I've seen her ridden from 7th or 8th before and just fly to the line. And she got that opportunity again yesterday to sit back and time her run, and that was the reward.
That's the key to her.
Again remains the popular pick at $2.75 ahead of Head Turner and Jewelled.
Across Australia for the Amy Victoria Derby, and Pedro has up noticeably since we last looked. 340 on Super Tab, and that is about what the bookies are betting here on course. Jewelled at $5.90. Bookies are betting a touch shorter on course. Head Turner $4.10. That's about right as well. And Gallant Guru $6.70. He's
number 6 in this race. He's won the race 5 times, of course, and the most recent of those was in 1987 with Omnicorp.
He's run second 4 times. 120.
About the Derby right now, Pendragon just a little easy with the bookmakers, but I know you've had some big bets, Pendragon.
Look, Pat, at Sporting Bet we have laid a bet today of 500,000 to 200,000 Pendragon, so that's $3.50. There's been very solid support for the horse, and it'll start a very clear favourite. The other horse that we've laid very well is the Graham Rogerson Jewelled. We've bet 500,000 to 100,000 Jewelled, and we've had several $20,000 and $50,000 bets on Jewelled. So at the moment, they're our 2 favourites at Sporting Bet.
All right, let's on the Super Tab has been very heavily backed in the ring here. Is a 2-to-1 chance now, Pendragon in the betting ring. So the money is seriously coming for Pendragon. Let's have a look at the course. Next pick is Benicio on the second page, number 9, at $11.80, which is about what the bookies are betting here. But seriously, Brendan, the money has really come for the Bart Cummings train, Pendragon and Glen Boss.
In the Derby. Pendragon jumping well and being eased back immediately at the start. Power of Destiny began okay. He's also going back, and it's going to be Escape Artist in front from Portland Spirit, who's gone up to second, leaving the straight. Next, Shotgun Saxon around the outside of Gallant Guru, who's got into a good place. Right behind those horses, Replicator going up on the inside from Danger Looms, and Point Made as handy as they. Behind these then is Mallorca, who's been caught wide the trip. Trailed then by Head Turner, about 8 from the leader in traffic past the 800. Followed by On the Map, Benicio starts a run. They're trailed further back by Manton. Pendragon starting his move around Manton now. And then Power of Destiny and On the Knocker is last of all. Portland Spirit moved up on the outside of Escape Artist, and they swing the turn together. Replicator is getting into the clear, and down the outside then came Gallant Guru. Jewel makes ground the inside. outside. Pendragon and Benicio come right to the extreme outside. Portland Spirit dash to the lead at the 300-metre mark. Portland Spirit race 2 or 3 lengths in front of Benicio coming down the outside. Jewel is in the clear and Pendragon's coming and Head Turner's coming too. Benicio hit the lead from Pendragon. Jewel and Head Turner. It's Benicio with 100 to go. Jewel coming after him. Benicio responding to the whip. He drives hard to the line and Benicio won the Derby by a neck to Jewel. A length to Head Turner. Pendragon, and they're followed then by Mandan. Power of Destiny is just behind those horses from Portland Spirit. Further back in the field to finish then is Point Made, and then came on
from Escape Artist, then replicated. Jewel getting up on the fence. Further back, Gallant Guru dropped out down the outside. Benicio, and here's Pendragon 3 lengths off them, but he's coming with a run now. Benicio and Pendragon go to Portland Spirit. Then Jewel and Head Turner getting out late. It's Pendragon on the outside, coming back at it is Benicio. Benicio, Pendragon, Jewel on the fence, coming home well. Jewel after Benicio. Benicio still in front, and Benicio hangs on. Wins it a half neck on the line. 2 Jewel, 3rd Head Turner, then 4th Pendragon every chance. Further back of the race then Portland Spirit, followed by Power of Destiny. Then
what about this? About 2 hours ago, Lee Freeman was chewing his ear off. He didn't want to talk to him. And Benicio, with a flashing performance today, has been able to win the biggest race for Noel, the 3rd time that Lee Freeman has won a Victoria Derby, and he
Sprinter miler races and a ran an unlucky 3rd in the Vars last week and comes home the winner today. On around in the fortunes for John O'Neill to the Pardon. Sprinter miler races ran an unlucky 3rd in the Vars last week and comes home the winner today. On around in the fortunes for John O'Neill to the Pardon. Sprinter miler races and a physical expert who does tests on horses actually identified him as a stayer, and they trained him as a stayer ever since. Well,
look, Bruce, honestly, it's just a fairy tale story. We're worth it now. Oh, it's fantastic, you know, and I deserve to spray off Lee because it was an ordinary rider, made an error, and he gave me a rev up, and it did me the world of good. But can I just say one thing? I love you, Benicio, and I also love you, Renee, too.
Well, you know, I trained his grandmother to win the Golden Slipper, and then his mother won a Blue Diamond Prelude by Danehill. This horse was more than ready, which is basically 2-year-olds. And so we brought him to win the Slipper, and have a look at him. He's a sprinter, essentially, if you look at him. But the more we did with him as a 2-year-old, the more he sort of suggested that he wanted ground. And
minutes, and here goes the star jump. Outstanding, but you can the next 5. Regroup yourself, spend some time, and
owner of the Derby, when of course he was the managing owner of Mummify, who sadly lost his life after the Caulfield Cup. There's the totes on screen for the Amy Victoria Derby. 9 Benicio, $10.70 and $3. No, very unlucky Head Turner favourite Pendragon finished 4th in the race. Noel Callow, only the start of this month, Benicio won a night meeting, won a night race at Moonee Valley. Not much of a fan of the night races, but you were there that night to ride Benicio. Did you think from there you could win a Derby?
Well, it was actually quite a good win because they wanted me to ride the horse forward. He couldn't go the speed in the mile race, and he finished off really good. He ran his last furlong in 12.5 and nabbed him on the line. They were only ordinary horses, but he stepped up to the Amy at Moonee Valley and ran super.
One from the outside and Pendragon coming to your outside. Were you aware where Darren was?
I was. I followed Darren in the race, and I was very happy when I actually lobbed on Darren's back when we came out of the gates. I was happy to stay on Darren's back, but there was a time for me to get off Darren's back, and I did, and I followed Greg Childs into the race and then got around him, and I knew Darren would be hard to beat, but it was just worked in my favour that I could put him in that Skyrocket and go for home.
Very strong on the line, Karen McAvoy. Last week or the week before, I'm not too, but he let us in on a secret. He took 100 to 1 about Benicio winning the Derby. And naturally, he is all smiles, and I was thinking of him when Benicio shot to the front. There he is. Ron, how are you?
Got a cheer out, Graham. I can tell you that much. Very hard to beat that fixed odds. I've been trying for about 2 years and finally got a result, so I'm square with them.
You enjoyed the day?
It's the best race meeting of the year.
With good staying effort, the Derby form, the lead-up races would distinguish themselves by being extraordinarily slowly run. The Vars was about 3 seconds slower than average, and the Norman Robinson was about 1.5 seconds slower than average. And whilst the best chances, best 5 or 6 chances for the Derby were revealed in those races, there was no evidence at all that the best horses, the best stayers, were the ones who fought out those two contests.
Yeah.
And in fact, it proved...
He wanted a fast speed, Jules. I thought there was a lot of merit in his performance. Look, he could be a Cups horse next year, in my opinion, Jules. I thought Head Turner was fantastic. He's the horse for the autumn, I'm sure. And but look, I'm going to ask the same question again, and I sincerely mean it this year. Look, these are average 3-year-olds, and they are not ready to run this sort of journey this time of the year. I think we should seriously be looking at finishing the VRC Derby and having one Australasian Derby in the autumn in Sydney.
So what do you call the first day of the carnival?
No, change it. Change it.
Oh, yeah.
No, look, I know they won't, but none of those horses were ready for it yesterday.
You looking forward to Santa?
Yeah.
Well, actually, they did it in Sydney. Well, stakes coming up, Brendan, and it seems to be a battle between Lad of the Manor and Activation. The tote odds we saw previously about Activation were way overs, weren't they? It comes up at $5.80 now. Let's go through them, Brendan. There's the totes on screen for the Kinnan.
Fields of Omar, $4.80 is unders compared to what you're getting on course, about $1.20 more. Number 2, Super Kid at $15, that's comparable. Number 3, Lad of the Manor. You can get about 70 cents longer on track compared to the 2 to Activation. Now, each way odds on the totalisate are $5.60, but certainly...
Well, Activation, the punters haven't bothered with that sort of form line, Brendan. Heavily back, $4.60 Activation now on Super Tab.
Thanks, Pat. Here's Greg Miles.
Sir Dex jumped well towards the inside. Activation began reasonably. He's now booting forward. Our Smoking Joe and Desert War were up there, and Lad of the Manor jumped well. He's easing back for a trail as Activation continues his forward surge on the outside to be part of the leading group. And then Studebaker followed by Fields of Omar. Activation, a length and a half away, Desert War. Lad of the Manor a nick away fourth the outside. 2 Sir Dex fifth on the rails from Studebaker to Fields of Omar, who's outside Lachlan River. And then Verbrae second last and last Super Kid. At the 700 before the turn, Our Smoking Joe 3/4, Activation second, Desert War right behind the front runner, Lad of the Manor is fourth, and then Studebaker and Sir Dex from Lachlan River. Fields of Omar coming out wide, and Super Kid and Verbrae bring up the rear. Our Smoking Joe came around the turn, he straightened up almost a length. Activation, Desert War the fence, Lad of the Manor into the clear, and he's been given full ball by Charles. He's winding up now, coming to the 300. Our Smoking Joe's giving a bit of cheek, he's 2 lengths in front. Activation can't get him. Lad of the Manor is starting to close now. 150 to go. Lad of the Manor got to Our Smoking Joe. Drew a neck in front. Then Desert War and Lachlan River. But Lad of the Manor's coming away for a well-deserved Group 1 win. Scores by 2 lengths to Our Smoking Joe. Lachlan River third, just in front of Desert War, and a break Sir Dex. Activation folded. Then Studebaker and Verbrae didn't come on, and nor did Fields of Omar. And Super Kid last all the way.
Our Smoking Joe from Activation, 2 lengths into Lad of the Manor. Fields of Omar a mile off them, going down to the 300. And Our Smoking Joe 2 lengths to Lad of the Manor, followed further back by Activation. Desert War. Fields of Omar's not in it from Lachlan River, but on the outside, Lad of the Manor raced up now to take the lead from Our Smoking Joe. Then Lachlan River further back. Desert War fighting on. That Lad of the Manor's coming away, and Lad of the Manor's 2 good wins, a length and a half to Our Smoking Joe. Lachlan River has grabbed third, I'd say, from Desert War again.
He's a good jockey, isn't he, Greg Charles? He's the super sub, isn't he? The super substitute. He's had 3 rides on that horse, Lad of the Manor, for 3 wins. $2.
Charles for Roger Hoysted, $2.70 and $1.30. Second, number 7, Our Smoking Joe, $4.80. Third, number 8, Lachlan River, $7.90.
Smoking Joe brave, and Lachlan River good for towards Tuesday's Melbourne Cup with a slashing third in the McKinnon Stakes. Steve Moran, well, it was a pretty painless victory to watch, wasn't it, if you're a Lad of the Manor fan? 1-1, ease out, 2 good, wins, gets the prize.
Well, I think you've summed it up for us. Terrific ride from Greg Charles to slot into that spot. The story of the race doesn't winner. Fantastic to see him win a Group 1 race. And, of course, the performance of the third place getter, Lachlan River, you would say it was very much a Bart Cummings McKinnon Stakes run. He ran his last 600 in the same time as the winner. Maybe his Caulfield Cup run was an aberration. Maybe he's a legitimate chance on Tuesday.
OK, let's have a listen to that. Cox Plate last week, Mackay Diva won. We saw Lad of the Manor run 5th. You're trying to tell us that Lad of the Manor should have won the Cox Plate.
I believe that, Paris. Yeah, he certainly should have tested Mackay Diva. I think to say that he would have run second is extremely conservative, given that he was 3 or 4 lengths in front of the mare. Coming down the side, found himself 3 or 4 lengths behind her, ran a quicker last 200. His performance last week was great, and certainly we've already seen.
Lad of the Manor, Greg Charles, lovely ride, had the perfect ride.
Brian Johns.
It's a shame for Brian Johns, really. He would have won on this horse. And I don't conform to the view that he slaughtered the horse in the Cox Plate by any stretch. You know, had Ladder the Manor been in that wall of 8 horses at the 750 in the Cox Plate, it's likely to have capitulated like others did.
Yeah.
And yeah, they can thank the fact that he wasn't there, that he won the McKinnon yesterday, Group 1.
Well, there you go. There's
mistakes, of course. Been a big go here for number 4, Falkirk. Has virtually firmed 2 points. Falkirk on screen, $4.90, you see there. Much shorter in the ring now and has been sensationally back for a big field race, Brendan. This is a sensational go.
This is a big dip, no doubt about it. It's going to crunch in a bit further.
Others, Glamour Puss has been easy out to 7.90. You can see there on screen. It's longer than that here on course. Take a of the totes on page 2. We'll find that the black ink is single figures, and you can get better odds in the 670. The 480, those Queenslanders are loyal there. On look at the totes, Falkirk there, 440, 440, 430 is 50 cents cheaper in the ring, and every time we get a call from the betting ring, it shortens. It's just extraordinary.
Just money
price. And well, $10.20 you can see on there is shorter than that in the ring now. There's been a move for it.
Falkirk on the inside began okay. Titanic Jack looked to be a little slow. Black Ink got away well towards the inside, and Gonski was away very fast along the rails. Takeover Target is right up there, and Mustard isn't far away from the speed as they settle down on the grandstand side as they settle into stride. And here it's King Rex, the leader, on the outside rail in front of Barely a Moment up second. And right behind those horses is Red Oog, and last of those horses is Cape of Good Hope. As they come along now towards the 600-metre mark, Gonski on the flat side had the lead by about a length to Falkirk and Takeover Target. Black Ink behind the front runner, followed then by Proudly Aggro and Glamour Puss. A break further back as Mustard, Titanic Jack and Beautiful Gem. And Coachinero follow the last with the Raid the Royals on the grandstand side. And it's Barely a Moment going out with Cape of Good Hope and Red Oog. They're the horses on the grandstand side. Down on the flat, there's 200 left to go. And Glamour Puss sprinted up and went to the lead. Raid the Royals are starting to charge home. Barely a Moment leads on this side. Glamour Puss the far side. And on the inside, Barely a Moment. They're coming to the line, they're wide apart, but Glamour Puss has won it. Glamour Puss beats either Barely a Moment or Cape of Good Hope, who photo finished for the minor end of the prize. Further back in the field was Raid the Royals and Takeover Target from Gonski, Black Ink, Beautiful Gem, and then Titanic Jack from Proudly Aggro.
Tackled by Barely a Moment. Cape of Good Hope trying to get clear. On the outside, they're just behind the flat side. Takeover Target and Glamour Puss. They've hit the front on the flat side from Gonski. Glamour Puss going for home at the 100-metre mark in front. Down the outside, Cape of Good Hope and Barely a Moment, but Glamour Puss, the mare Glamour Puss, wins well. She wins about 2 lengths. Outside rail, Barely a Moment, maybe second from Cape of Good Hope. Back to the inside, then came Takeover Target.
O'Brien, she won the Goodwood handicap in May, didn't she? And in Adelaide, and of course out here today. Yeah, she's a great little mare, Johnny. She, under the handicap conditions, obviously suited today, but she was aimed for this race, and Danny's credit is he had
close at the end, though. They did, yeah. I was getting a bit panicky towards the line, but yeah, she's a quality mare. Look, the only mare that beat her last year was a Lengy. She's clearly the best sprinting mare in Australia, and she showed it today.
What next for her?
Possibly back up next.
50th Group 1 success. Congratulations, Stephen King and Danny O'Brien. Beating Barely a Moment. Terrific performance again, coming back in distance. And Cape of Good Hope, extraordinary horse this horse is. Brett Pebble had the ride. Steve, great performance by the winner, and also, of course, the runner-up and the third place getter on the outside fence.
Certainly, Bruce, coming down the grandstand side where there were only 4 runners, King Rex took them into the race to some degree, but not with the same gusto that they were running on the flat side. Terrific efforts from Barely a Moment and Cape of Good Hope. And Cape of Good Hope, of course, will back up next Saturday and much better placed under the weight for age conditions.
All right, we mentioned this.
News out of the David Hay stable is their Group 1 winner, Barely a Moment, has bowed a tendon and is now likely to be retired.
Oh, that is.
Yeah, I don't think we appreciate how good Cape of Good Hope is, and this silent witness absolutely toys with him on numerous occasions. Like on figures yesterday, I just don't believe you could have had Cape of Good Hope, and he gave himself every chance down the straight. I thought it was a fantastic performance.
Gonski, what did you think? I thought it was a pretty good run. I thought he was
fairly close to some tough older sprinters in the weights at that race, and for him to battle on as long.
Might see Glamour puts up in the Brisbane Carnival up towards the Stradbroke.
Look, we haven't sort of made any firm plans yet, Gravely. The one race that we'd really like to win is the race you ran second in last year, the Group 1 Mares race in Adelaide to Miss Swetnam.
Yep.
And then after that she'd probably run in the Newmarket, and then I'd say this will be...
Brendan, and there have been two significant goes here in the last, at the top of the weights, Yell and Valedictum. You'd swear, you can't work out what's going on here. They're both short in 3 and 4 points respectively.
Well, Valedictum,
you can see 11 Zankel in the market, 9.40, matches up well, and 12 Elton John at $9.70.
At the 1400 metres, Sam sung a song, is drifting towards the end, and Elton John was slow. And as they bounce into stride now, and Sam sung a song on the inside in company with Via Delago. Up towards the turn they race. Son of Dane led from Volatin, who's pushing up along the inside again. He might have just got tightened up for a bit of room there. They come wide. Rockford Bay, Shadow, Devil Deep, and Saspy very, very wide. Yell's got onto Saspy's back, about to let go, and recapitalises coming through as well. Valedictum just off the leading horses. Rockford Bay took Son of Dane down to the 300 metres. Valedictum in the clear, recapitalises, running on. Zenkel is getting a run down on the inside, and further back is Yell. Rockford Bay in front of Zenkel, recapitalised, and Valedictum driving through in the middle. Rockford Bay just led at the 100. Zenkel is driving hard on the inside. Rockford Bay continues to fight a little bit. They come to the line together. Rockford Bay just beat Zenkel at a photo finish. 2 lengths away is Valedictum third from Elton John, who ran on the inside, and so did Sam sung a song. Further back
front, it's back at the tyre.
Well, that's Rockford Bay, and Reece McLeod getting a win on Derby Day. It's been a good day for them.
Really putting the heat on the club. He even questioned whether Vinnie Rowe, whether Vinnie Rowe would run on a track like we had to deal with here today.
Adam, they'll have to water. They'll have to water and just hope it doesn't rain, because you couldn't have a situation where it was too hard on cup morning. What would happen then?
Well, imagine if we had a situation, scratchings 8 o'clock cup morning, take out 1 Mackay Diva and 2 Vinnie Rowe.
Well, 28 degrees and fine is the forecast at the moment for Tuesday. So,
with the main draw card, if you got Pavarotti singing at a concert and he says, "Look, I want the lighting to be orange," you'll make sure it's orange. So I think there'll be a little bit of water somehow or other get on the track. Agreed, Steve?
Well, I think so, Ken. They've applied 6 mils last. Look, you don't want to get too paranoid about this. I mean, for argument's sake, there's the connections of another visitor, Distinction. They'd be quite happy to have Good to Firm. Now,
harder than Good to Dead, and if it's a hard track, I must say I couldn't put her through what she went in Japan, and she'd be out of the cup.
So you can assure us if the track is firm.
Yes, it is, Richard.
So if it's as firm as it was yesterday, you definitely will scratch her.
She will be out of the cup on Tuesday if it's as firm as yesterday.
Okay. Which horses?
I think Like a Falcon's a great chance with 8 kilos less. Railings, Vinnie Rowe, of course, and
Dizelle. Speaking of the Cup, Kenny, your thoughts on the Emirates Melbourne Cup?
I've always thought that the best Melbourne Cup form is the Caulfield Cup form, and I haven't seen a better run in the Caulfield Cup, a better trial for a Melbourne Cup than Eyepopper. He sat 4 deep for the majority. I beg to differ, but at the moment it'd certainly be Eyepopper 1, Railing 2nd, and I've got probably Maccabee Diva 3rd, but Distinction pushing.
All right, for joining us on Racing Review. Enjoy Cup Day on Tuesday. Number 1, of course, is Maccabee Diva, Australia's champion racehorse. She's Australia's most popular racehorse, and she'll be here on Tuesday with 130-odd thousand cheering her. I'm not sure if we've got masks on Tuesday, Steve.
Well, the telling statistic, of course, is track and distance, isn't it? TD. 2 starts this course and distance, 2 wins in the past 2 Melbourne Cups. 55 kilos last year. She jumps to 58, but I think in days gone by, she'd have had 62. She's pitched in, to be frank, but she's still going to need some sort of luck in running. Carrying that sort of weight, she can't afford to have an interrupted passage. Her lead-up form's terrific. We see her winning the Cox Plate here in the last 12 months, winning the Australian Cup, showing the turn of foot to win a 1,400-metre weight for age race. They're going to win the Cox Plate. I mean, her form is flawless.
But no horse has ever a horse had so fewer starts going into a Melbourne Cup. Steve, Like a Falcon, TRB number 22, drawn poorly, but you had to be impressed with the Caulfield Cup run.
Well, his performance there at Caulfield was quite extraordinary, breaking a minute for the last 1,000 of a 1.5 mile race there. Rocketed to the line, didn't have the best of luck for Craig Williams on that occasion. He might be a freak. That performance
thoroughly dominant performance in the Caulfield Cup.
Well, we were all taken by the performances of iPopper and Like a Falcon, but let's not lose sight of the fact that Railings won the race. He finished certainly one of the form horses. 9 of the past 15 Melbourne Cup winners have come through the Caulfield Cup. It is the definitive form reference, and he was strong on the line here.
That's him in the black and the white. Created such a big impression at Caulfield, Steve.
Well, the owner's racing manager is quite good with his English. I hope he's on track, because here's my top-rated section, which is Melbourne Cup iPopper. I thought the horse hasn't been taxed on the track.
But his form at 2 miles is better than his form at 1.5 miles, and so be the fact that he has beaten home Maccabi Diva at 2 miles in Japan.
And meets her about 6 kilos better from the 10-0 show. So on facts and figures and on what we've seen, iPopper clearly must be hard to beat on Tuesday. Just Cup form, my selection is iPopper, the Japanese horse. His performance at Caulfield was Herculean. To beat Like a Falcon and Railings, so my thoughts are certainly dominated around the Caulfield Cup. 4th pick would be Maccabi Diva. I think Vinny
Rowe to beat iPopper, Railings and Maccabi Diva. But whatever happened,
Dom, firstly, your thoughts on Maccabi?
Well, Maccabi is an absolute champion. There's absolutely no doubt about that. She has a couple of hurdles to overcome. One is the history of the Cox Plate Melbourne Cup double. The only horses who've been able to win the double had all had a run at 1.5 miles before the Melbourne Cup, with one exception, that being Far Lap. Far Lap also is distinguished as the only horse who raised in weight from the Cox Plate to the Melbourne Cup by a greater amount than Maccabi. So if Maccabi happens to win tomorrow, there's no doubt in anyone's mind she would be up there as the best horse that raced in this country since Far Lap Bestale.
Okay, which is number 7. John Hawkes, Greg Charles will again ride it. The
Railings is my top pick in the Cup. Railings has only had 4 runs at 1.5 miles. He ran close up in the Derby, sat 3 wide on a leader's track. All the excuses that they put forward for the favourite Excellent were available to Railings, and he got beaten 2 heads in the race. He's had 3 runs at 2,400 this time and won them all. He gets his turn of foot from his granddam, Emancipation, who was a very brave mare. There's plenty of stoutness in his pedigree, and he has improved his rating every run this preparation. He's a very scary horse for the opposition.
Come on us so quickly, and we must...
The Kiwi galloper, Mike Moroney trained. It's drawn out in barrier 17.
Same preparation, similar to Maccabi Diva, and it couldn't match it with her in that race. I don't think it can match it with any of these again. This is the one horse in the race that I do want Dominic's opinion on.
Well, Ron, the ratings that he came to the Cox Plate with, I marked him 50 to 1 on the Cox Plate and said it on the radio. I couldn't imagine how he was second favourite in the race through the week. And his ratings, he came here from New Zealand. He has been beating absolutely nothing. Very, very poor quality races. He beat Distinctly Secret a length and a half or something, and he just does not compute for mine.
Like a Falcon. Now this is talk about a rags to riches story. This.
That's a great story, isn't it? Oh,
He's a hot chance too.
He's got a sensational last sectional. He's put 2 ratings together now in his last 2 runs. He's got to find about another 3 lengths though, and that's a bit of a mountain for him. But he's got undeniable talent, and he's got a fantastic action, this horse.
iPopper and Railings.
Okay.
With the great one, Maccabi Diva, ahead of Railings, I've got no doubt that...
They're 3 likely. They're not the only chances in the race, though. If I could have 5 or 6 picks in the race, I probably would.
But they're 3 that you have in your...
Beside me, I just think the Caulfield Cup form is there for everyone.
Since Might and Power and Saintly.
Wow.
And Maccabi's second pick, she's undeniably going to run a great race. And anyone who's got a doubt about Mr. Celebrity wants to get the clock out and clock...
I've gone for Mr. Celebrity over Maccabi Diva, and I've put in Dizelle.
On the track that we give them tomorrow.
The track on Dictator likely to be more nervous than most, the mystery punter, the $1 million bet, all riding on Maccabi Diva.
It'd be fair to say he's a fairly high net worth individual, so he's used to dealing with big numbers.
By just after 3 cups.
He was unbeatable, basically. She's the only mare ever to have won the Melbourne Cup twice.
She's a horse to both have carried record weights to win Melbourne Cups.
His is the best story in Australian racing ever. Makybe Diva's is just about the second best.
Indeed, the punters have got
In Australian racing already, and if she wins tomorrow, that position becomes elevated. She actually opens the door and joins Far Lap with the gods in that special room.
But could she?
We really appreciate it. Watering of the track.
No, I think we're going to hear a lot more about this. It's a very hot topic out talking to the horsemen. I won't go through all the names of the people who have been critical, but one prominent horseman here in Melbourne said that, you know, is this a Melbourne Cup or the Makybe Cup? There's a fair bit of disharmony there with the amount of water that has been put on the track.
What was the buzz? Starting to get down, aren't we? 160 minutes to go, and that windfall is $7.39 million. And she's shortening on Super Tap. She was $4.10 Makybe Diva, and then $4, and now $3.90. Vinny dollars here. On this page, to merge it, easing a little to 22. Lachlan River, 4 horses in particular, and then Vinny Roll that are rock solid, like a Falcon, at $6.50.
Anchor, I reckon that's when the Japanese jockey might say, well, that doesn't suit me. I'm going to roll up and do exactly what I did in the Caulfield Cup, and you see if you can outstay.
Put in a beauty for the last career performance of Vinny Rowe, and we're looking at the totes on screen across the country. So 101, she's the mare, and I can tell you she is a big drifter in the betting ring.
But the biggest go of the afternoon has been Eye Popper. Given that there's so much pre-post betting in the weeks and days leading up, any horse that firms 2 points in the ring late on betting is a major go, and Eye Popper has been a big go. You're getting good value.
Attempting to become the first horse to win the great race for a third time.
She'll join the greats, Bruce. She'll join the greatest horses that have ever raced in this country. She's there now, but she'll move to the next level. There's only 1 or 2 above her, and Far Lap is 1. She'll get into that class if she can win here today. It's a...
The great mare, Makybe Diva, jumped away well. Grays in with the touch slow. Eye Popper began well. So did Strasbourg. Emerger, Lachlan River away quickly near the inside. Portland Singer away fast down on the inside. Kamsky going over their heels, and so is Like a Falcon. Makybe Diva going to the second half of the field, but has already got over about 2 or 3 away from the rails at the very least. Franklin's Gardens wide out, and Bazell with Mr. Celebrity. They're all going forward as they come past the 400 the first time. He's got Makybe Diva 1 off the rails. And Portland Singer has the lead early in the Cup. Not going all that fast, led from Beulah deep around Strasbourg. Mr. Celebrity, they lead the straight. Back behind these horses, then is Hugs Dancer, who's outside railings, and then came Vinny Rowe as they leave the straight from Kinjal. Then Makybe Diva, who's on the rails now. Great piece of riding by Bossy as they lead the straight to the 2,000. Honours Earned next, followed then by Rise On, a length and a half to Excellent Vouvray. Behind them is Dizel, second last then Like a Falcon, and Kamsky last of all. About 1,900 left to go in the Cup now, and the leader is now Mr. Celebrity's gone around the field to take up the running by about a length and a half. Bazell is second, Umbula is third. A length and a half further back then came Portland Singer, being followed by Lachlan River. Eye Popper is next with Strasbourg over on his inside. Franklin's Gardens is out 3 wide. 1 further back is Envoy to merge at the centre, and Gray's in is travelling wide past the 1,600. Next is Kinjal on the inside with Distinction deep around the outside, railings in the middle. A length and a half further back, Makybe Diva. Back there in company at the 1,400 with her is Vinny Rowe and Hugs Dancer on the outside. A half a length away then on the outside of Makybe Diva came Dizel from Honours Earned. Like a Falcon starting to make a little bit of ground on the outside of Rise On. And then Excellent Kamsky and Vouvray last of all. About 1,100 left to go. Mr. Celebrity is the leader by a length to Portland Singer second. 1 Umbula. Eye Popper a handy fourth. The outside a length Bazell. Being followed at the 1,000-metre mark then by Lachlan River and Strasbourg together. Next Gray's in starting to make some ground from Envoy, and further back is Diverger. 2 lengths Distinction. They're trailed then by Railings and Kinjal, Vinny Rowe. Makybe Diva still well back on the inside as they come to the turn, followed by Dizel, Rise On, Hugs Dancer, Vouvray, Excellent and Kamsky towards the end. Like a Falcon coming around them, and Franklin's Gardens has dropped out. 500 left to go, coming around the home turn now. Portland Singer got to the lead from Mr. Celebrity. Eye Popper's running on, and then Strasbourg. Back behind those horses now as they come down the straight was Vinny Rowe, and back behind them here's Makybe Diva. A nation roars for a hero. She's starting to wind up. 300 left to go now. Makybe Diva's racing up. Envoy's trying to
excellent. Like a falcon is close up, and just behind those horses then was Lachlan River, Portland Singer, and further back in the field is Kinjal. Eye-Popper's running on, and then Strasbourg. Back behind those horses now as they come down the straight was Vinnie Rowe, and back behind them here's Makybe Diva. A nation roars for a hero. She's starting to wind up. 300 left to go now. Makybe Diva's racing up. Envoy's trying to go with it. They've got the Portland Singer and Lachlan River. Here comes Like a Falcon and excellent. But Makybe Diva clear with 100 metres to go. Excellent runs to second. Onazurn runs on, but a champion becomes a legend. Makybe Diva has won it from either Onazurn. Excellent. Like a Falcon is close up, and just behind those horses then was Lachlan River, Portland Singer, and further back in the field is Kinjal, Rizon, Dizelle. Behind them is Demerger and Envoy. Eye-Popper followed further back then by Vinnie Rowe, Railings, Vouvray, Strasbourg, Kamsky, and then Mr. Celebrity Dancer. And I think Franklin's Gardens may have been pulled out of the race. And there he is, he's just walked across the post. It is the greatest Melbourne Cup win of all time.
Grace in on the outside, a length and a half further back to Merger. Where's Makybe Diva? She's a fair way back when they come around the home turn. She's trying to get clear. Into the straight they race now. They run towards the 550-metre mark. And Portland Singer went to the front in the cup now from Lachlan River on the inside. Eye-Popper to third. Further out, Makybe Diva. Here she comes with a withering run. The great mare is going up now. Makybe Diva to join Portland Singer. They're followed further back by Lachlan River with a late run Like a Falcon and excellent down the outside, but it's Makybe Diva in front with 100 to go. 2 lengths in front of excellent. Once, twice, 3 times. Yes, it's going to be the Diva. She's going to win the Melbourne Cup. Makybe Diva wins a length. Onazurn flashed home to run second. Photo for third. It's either excellent or Like a Falcon, followed by... Makybe Diva has won her 3rd Melbourne Cup. She must join the absolute demigods of racing. She must join Phar Lap as the greatest the turf has ever produced. Makybe Diva, number 1.
Hear, hear. Greg has summed it up perfectly. There has never been a moment in the history of the great race. We are seeing sporting history in Australia today that we never thought was possible. Onazurn second, an excellent third.
Lee Freedman, the impossible has become reality.
Go and find the smallest child on this course, because they will be an example of the only person here that will live long enough to see something like that again. We'll never live to see it again.
Take us through your emotions over the 3.5 minutes.
I was always comfortable. It was one of his... They ought to bottle all Glenn's Melbourne Cup rides. I mean, the only thing we discussed differently, I said, Glenn, don't go for inside hero runs, because I said if we get stopped in our tracks, it's finished. Once she shouldered her way out at the 200, or outside the 200, about the 300, and he was still just travelling and covering the leaders, it was like watching a maiden at Bendigo, you know. Yeah.
You seem so calm at the moment. What is you?
No, it's not relief. I thought she could do it. And I said all along I thought she could do it. She's just a great horse. Probably didn't have the perfect preparation, but good enough.
And we can finally...
Oh, it's just unbelievable. She just gives you so much confidence, this mare. You just... Oh, from a mile, I just knew it was all over it. She just put herself in the spot, switched off. I just talked to her through the race, and she just responded to me so well. Mate, when she trucked up between them, I mean, I got there way too soon, but with 50 others, I'm on my bike here. They're going to have to chase me down. So I knew that nothing was going to come from behind and beat her. Glenn, was you worried to her? Thanks for that.
I wonder if we appreciate what we're seeing here. This is true greatness. This mare is a blessing from God, and we've all been privileged to see something here today that none of us will ever see again. We'll never see a thoroughbred racehorse like that mare.
Christine and Tony Santic. Tony becomes one of the very few owners to have won 3 Melbourne Cups. No other owner Well, this history-making mare, Makybe Diva, back the scale. If you backed her, good on you. $3.60 and $2, $14.60 on Azure, 580 Exton, 164.60 to Cornella, 197.50 the exacta. The trifecta, 4th Elwyn. Whereas once she gets out and the run appears, it's just like an exhibition goal.
They're a team, aren't they?
Yep.
He moves and she responds. And she doesn't flinch. Look, bang, straight through, get out of my road, here I come. And Glenn says, I'll tell you what, I'll show you. We'll go to the front now, and I'll show you what a champion this horse is. That was a great sense of theatre. Thanks, Glenn. That'll make that race even better down the track.
I mean, Shane, you've grown up in an era where you talk about Kingston Town, you talk about...
Well, she's the greatest racehorse I think I've seen. I never rated her above Kingston Town, but you'd have to rate her above Kingston Town. And she's the greatest horse I've seen now. Not only the best horse I've trained, but the greatest one I've seen now. Well, you've been pretty humble this morning.
And there's the package, the owner, the trainer and the jockey. It's the best Melbourne Cup story imaginable. What's your back?
You've witnessed an absolutely magnificent athlete right at the peak of her career. And I'd like to commend Tony at retiring her at the peak of her career, because this isn't the end.
Now, because her career is over. 36 starts, 15 wins, 7 placings, $14 million, 3 Melbourne Cups, a Cox Plate, a BMW and Australian Cup. Not a bad lineup, is it? Fantastic. 1,000 metres, he said he was racing a bit flat, and probably those wins in the Metropolitan and Caulfield Cup had peaked him.
Vinnie Rose finished top 10 in his last start. He's finished officially 9th, so he goes out with 110,000. It's sad to see him go out like that, but he too has been a wonderful warrior, and he now becomes a stallion.
From Streaky Bay, Kerry McAvoy's dad. Excellent third. So the New Zealander there, then Like a Falcon, terrific run, Lachlan River for Queensland. Portland Singer all the way through Extinction Umbula, Hugs Dancer in his third cup. Bazille, Mr. Celebrity and Franklin's Garden.
They went in the barriers. Makybe Diva was heavily backed yet again. I've spoken to a couple of the bookmakers. There's been Like a Falcon was heavily backed, but Makybe Diva has not been kind to the bookmakers yet again. And as I said, a rush of...
And remember, one punter had $1 million on Makybe Diva a couple of days ago. And like the rest of us, that punter would be smiling right now. Let's change. The question is, will the public demand? She did make a fleeting comeback. And what about
betting markets for the
champion becomes a legend.
Makybe Diva achieves greatness in the 100.
Greatest thing anyone's going to achieve for a long while. She's done it now.
Do you think we can now compare her on a comparison level to Farlap?
Well, everyone wants to do that. I'd rather just back away from that and say she's the greatest horse that we've ever seen, or we're ever likely to see. There's people who saw Farlap that would argue with you. The argument's pointless. Let's just enjoy her.
The decision after the race to retire, was that spur of the moment?
It was very much spur of the moment. I looked at her after the race and I said to Tony, I think we should retire her. There's nothing left to prove, and he said, I'll ask Chris. Chris said, I agree. He said, I agree, and we retired her.
Congratulations.
Friedman agreed.
I think the right amount of water's going on, and the most important thing is that the grass is long, and that's keeping a bit of moisture in the track. Look, I'm happy with the track.
But other trainers condemned the decision to water the track in a move they claim favoured Makybe Diva.
I think it's a disgrace. I don't think that the track should be touched. If it's hard, it's hard. If it's soft, it's soft. I think you just get on and race on it.
I thought it was the Melbourne Cup, not the Makybe Cup.
They were right to be anxious.
But a champion!
Retirement will now plunge the nation into debate. Just how does she rank with Farlap? Makybe Diva, 36 starts for 15 wins. Among them, those 3 Melbourne Cups and a Cox Plate. Big Red, 51 starts and 37 wins. They include 1 Melbourne Cup and 2 Cox Plates.
and we can finally mention Makybe Diva and Far.
I believe it was the biggest risk I ever took for the horse to do that, and as you said, it could have all come unravelled and then we look like fools.
Friedman suggesting some of... While Racing Victoria will immortalise her, just as they did Far Lap with a life-size statue here at Flemington.
Well, they're scenes you never get sick of seeing. Welcome to Racing Review on the Sunday after the fabulous 4 days of Flemington, dominated by that mare, Makybe Diva. What a champion she has been. She's been retired, but we were privileged to see her win her 3rd Melbourne Cup this week. Simon Marshall.
Good morning to everyone. Well, the pictures tell the story, don't they? It was fabulous theatre. It was a great day in Australian history. It was a classic day. I was glad I was there.
Well, the man...
Well, the pictures tell the story, don't they? It was fabulous theatre.
She was ready for that.
Lee, when this mare first came to your stable, what were your impressions then, and what were your expectations of what she might be able to achieve?
Steve, my impressions were she was a very smart, staying handicap mare, a very plain-looking horse. We were probably going to struggle to win another Melbourne Cup with her.
Lee, I just want to ask you...
She ran first up last autumn and ran a slashing race in the Orr Stakes, beaten about 1.5 lengths. And I thought, well, if she can be competitive at 1,400 metres weight for age, why can't she be competitive at 2,000 metres weight for age? And then, of course, the rest is history, because as soon as she got up to a right triple weight for age, she was almost unbeatable.
Lee, we're going to have a look at the... I think she'll win. You were very confident, weren't you?
Yes, I was confident. When you have a champion, and I don't use the term loosely, she's a champion horse, and you think you've got them pretty well right, you know that there's very few horses in the world can beat her when she's on song.
Interest there has been in this man, not from the regular racing crew, but from all aspects of Australia.
I don't know what it is. It's one of those intangibles, Bruce, that she's so popular. I think it's the story behind her, you know, Tony being a bloke that is self-made, a fishing guy. There's a whole little community in Port Lincoln gets behind her. She's a mare, she's old. There's all those elements that add together to making a great story.
I think you said yourself too, Lee, that she's so good she covers up your mistakes.
She does.
I made a comment just on the day, though, that...
Oh, Makybe Diva. You know, like, that's... you know, people say, what's the best horse you've ever seen? And we think, oh, is it Kingston Town, is it Tulloch? You know, Tulloch was before my time. But the best race in Australia is the Melbourne Cup. And every trainer, every jockey, they want to win the Melbourne Cup. Every owner wants to win the Melbourne Cup. This mare has won our greatest race 3 times. So if she's not the best racehorse we've ever had, who is?
How was it? It was the better horse, Far Lap, with all Carbine. I mean, I think the summation was Carbine was the horse of the 19th century, Far Lap of the 20th, and we've got one for the 21st century already.
I think our old mate Rollo Roylands penned that, and I think that was more than fair. Of course, you know, I know people want to gloss over it, but I think the consistency of the track reading was the one slight cloud. They say it's VRC policy. Well, it's not, because policy has to be consistent. If it was 4.43 on Saturday, 4.48 this Saturday, and in between them 4.78, I think that's enough said. And I don't want to put any cloud on it. I think that, as I just said, she's the greatest horse I've ever seen. She would
have won wet, dry, left-handed, right-handed.
If they'd have run it down a concrete path. No one denies that.
All right.
Runs on, but a champion becomes a legend. Makybe Diva has won it.
And we were all just saying off camera there, didn't Greg nail that as a...
Greg Miles's call was the best Melbourne Cup call I've ever heard him call. And not just because our horse won, because it was a brilliant call.
Well, I tell you what, feelings he hit the front.
Look, people say this, but I find it hard to put into words. When she peeled to the outside and Greg Miles uttered those immortal words, I think now, you know, and a nation roars for a hero, I just thought, it's going to happen, and I was just numb.
Well, you have to...
A little bit of great touch.
Claim is 3-time Melbourne Cup winner Makybe Diva. She's officially the world's best mare and the world's best stayer, according to the latest World Thoroughbred rankings. Julian de Stoop.
And Serenade Rose, 240 on the tote, is pretty much reflective of what will be offered here in the ring. I expect these two to dominate betting in the race. Continue to get the $5 about Astronomia and jump on it.
Take favourite throughout. 240 out of Astronomia 520, Isanami 820, Empress Lily 530, been displaced as second favourite. And as for the punter today, showing whether that can assist her. Daiichi at 37.40. Dark Mask, we've mentioned 57 this afternoon.
Serenade Rose jumped away okay. Lemon Bitter's a little slow. Astronomia was away very quickly. So was Flora Danica, and All That Jazz has ridden aggressively from the outside stall. Empress Lily, well, they were going to go forward on Empress Lily. She's gone back fourth last at the 2,200 metres. Empress Lily about 9 lengths from the leader on the fence. Behind her is Daiichi, Mary Marvel, and then Desideris and Texarkana last in the Oaks field as they go past the 800. And it's Black Espresso leading by about a half a length from Astronomia. Right behind Astronomia came Serenade Rose and All That Jazz over on the fence as they swing for home. Then Flora Danica, Astronomy, Lemon Bitters just ahead of these as they swing for home. And Empress Lily has got a fair bit of work to do. Into the straight now, Black Espresso joined by Astronomia. Serenade Rose in the clear on the outside end. Prop the question, followed by Flora Danica. Lemon Bitters has had enough. Astronomy is coming home. Astronomia at the 300 is tackled by Serenade Rose, who swept to the lead now. Down the outside, Flora Danica, Astronomy, and Empress Lily coming from well back, but Serenade Rose is racing away. 100 left to go. She put 3 lengths to Flora Danica. Empress Lily runs on, but it's all Serenade Rose as she careers away to win the Oaks by 3 lengths. Flora Danica second, Empress Lily a half length away third. Then Astronomia, Astronomy, followed by And All That Jazz, Mary Marvel, Lemon Bitters, and then came 8 Lives, Desideris. Behind these, Black Espresso, a fair break in the field to Daiichi in company with Dark Mask, and Texarkana is last to finish the fun brilliantly.
Lemon Bitters followed by Empress Lily getting out. Astronomia the lead of the favourite. Serenade Rose is coming at it quickly. Now Flora Danica coming off their heels. Then came Izanami. But Serenade Rose has kicked it at the 150 and look at her go. She's opened up. She's sprinted 3 lengths in front of Flora Danica. Empress Lily up to third. But Fleetman's going to complete a huge week. The spring week in Melbourne, and Serenade Rose wins by 3 lengths. Flora Danica second, a half to Empress Lily third. A gap to us.
The favourite has won brilliantly.
Here, Greg. Stephen King wins the Oaks for the first time. He's been really super. The big...
Yeah, that's marvellous. I mean, look, the obvious was the obvious. She was the best filly all season. She probably should have nearly won the Guineas, and other than that, she'd have been unbeaten, and she's won the Oaks in a canter today, so it's fantastic.
She's only pint size when he
140, 310, 190, Quinella 1850, 24.70 the exact. The trifecta, 147.10. Oaks quartet, Serenade Rose, one of 6 wins for the week, 3 Group 1s for Stephen King, beating Flora Danica and Empress Lily. She won her first race this preparation, a Werribee Maiden, and she capped off her last of 6, 5 of those wins with a Group 1 win in the Oaks. Lee Freeman
suggested and told us that 3-year-old fillies invariably don't go on to either Caulfield Cups or Melbourne Cups. Has she got the physically, is she physically strong enough or big enough to go on and do something like that?
Look, I don't think it's a matter of physical attributes. I think it's a matter of whether she's got the ability to go on. I've had good racehorses in all sorts of sizes and shapes, and yes, she's quite a small, lightly framed filly, and yes, most of them don't go on to make Caulfield Cup mares, and I really don't know the answer as to whether she will or not, but she'll be...
But $4.80 lines up with what you're getting on the tote at the moment. Dan's Hero at the $9, you're getting value at $11.50. On, even if you were backing Queen of the Hill, you'd have saved at those odds. $7.30 in New South Wales. I'd have thought he'd have been much shorter up there.
Well, let's have a look at the top 8 there. Queen of the Hill, 2.
Cape of Good Hope again okay, and so did Stratum in the early stages. Dance Hero away very quickly, trying to find the outside fence. Takeover Target got away okay. He's coming across this side. Glamour Puss right behind him, followed Oscar Warrior. Jetspur went back to last of all with Bomberbill just ahead of him. Near the 850 metres now, and Dance Hero has the lead by about a length here to Stratum. They've got away a good margin in front of Cape of Good Hope. Whoa! Something gone wrong with Queen of the Hill. Threw the rider off. Queen of the Hill lost the rider, about 700 left to go. Jetspur trying to work clear as they come down towards the 450. It's now Stratum out after Dance Hero. Then follows Cape of Good Hope in third placing. Running on Glamour Puss, followed by Takeover Target. Jetspur's come closest to the middle of the track. Dance Hero kicking back, and Stratum from Cape of Good Hope. Running on strongly at the 200. Glamour Puss and Jetspur also. Dance Hero grabbed now by Glamour Puss. Glamour Puss hits the lead. Stratum after him the outside. Glamour Puss in front of Stratum. They fight it out. Stratum coming back at Glamour Puss. They come to the line together, and Glamour Puss has won from Stratum in a close go. Cape of Good Hope 3 lengths away third from Dance Hero. Jetspur, and further back in the field then to finish was Bomberbill. takeover target back towards the end there with that Jet Spur. Queen of the Hill has finished the race riderless. I don't know what happened, and the jockey is still down being attended to Karen McAvoy.
Leader Mark in company with Bomber Bill. Dance Hero off the outside fence in front. Queen of the Hill has lost the rider. Queen of the Hill has dumped the rider. And the leader Dance Hero now a length and a half in front of Stratum. Cape of Good Hope going up in the middle. Back towards the centre. Takeover target followed by Glamourpuss. Fence behind those Cape of Good Hope. Glamourpuss coming up the middle. So too is Jet Spur. Dance Hero tackled by Glamourpuss. Cape of Good Hope. And Stratum on the outside. At the 100-metre mark, it's Glamourpuss in front. Stratum starting to wear it down the outside fence. Glamourpuss ahead in front. Stratum trying to pick it back. Glamourpuss is hanging on. Glamourpuss wins it a half neck. 2 Stratum, 3 away, 3rd Cape of Good Hope. Then 4th home is Dance Hero. Further back then.
Well, she's 5th in between those horses now.
Glamourpuss becoming the first since Far Range, the filly, to win the Challenger and back up and win the 1200-metre Classic, now called the Age Classic. Glamourpuss. Well, the weight for Age Cup and McAvoy, but shouldn't take anything away too from this performance by a trainer to Danny O'Brien, of course, to get this horse to peak again a week after the Challenger.
Terrific effort. 3 major 1200-metre races for this mare now. 2 at Group 1 level and 1 at Group 2. Great performance. Cape of Good Hope, I suspect he's the sort of horse that you really got to get stuck into him, Simon, a good distance from home.
Let's have a look at this incident though, Steve. Simon, you can see where Queen of the Hill is about to go.
Yeah, well, there's a bit of a shift. I think that was Oscar Warrior on the outside, was it? And Cape of Good Hope coming together. And
Cape of Good Hope's in the white cap, and you can see on the inside of it is a takeover target.
Takeover target, sorry, yeah. Well, what happens there is it's only one clip. It only takes one clip for Queen of the Hills.
To do that Epsom Emirates double. Miss Potential 880, Nicanero 790, could David Hayes win for the 4th time. Activation $20, Calvin $6.60, down to Shania Dane at $4.80. She'll be favoured at those odds. Titanic Jack won the race 2 years ago, hasn't won since, $28. Valedictum 34, Ike's Dream $15, Group 1 winner in Sydney in the autumn. Sam sung a song similar.
And Rockford Bay jumped well. Desert War looked, if anything, a little slow in the early stages. Shania Dane away quickly. Dare's going up. Volatan drives on the outside. And there's Miss Potential out flying, looking for the lead after 250. And Miss Potential leads by about 2 or 3 lengths to Shania Dane, going quickly up on the outside now into second, taken the field then by Ike's Dream. Then the Titanic Jack around the outside from Valedictum. Sam sung a song about 3 lengths away. And Stamen at the tail, 800 left to go. And the leader is Miss Potential. She's going to corner with us, lead the lead up towards the home turn. Desert War out wide on the courses, going up to have a crack at the front runner when they swing. Volaton is in the centre. Activation and Titanic Jack wide next, and Shania Dane's got something left to give. She needs a run behind the leader, followed by Deer, Infinite Grace, and then came Nicanero, followed by Ike's Dream. In the straight, Miss Potential with Volaton the outside. The run about to appear now for Shania Dane between them, and she's burst through. Desert War runs on. Here's Nicanero coming, and Valedictum is storming down the middle of the course now. Shania Dane is grabbed at the 200 by Valedictum. Nicanero in the middle. Here comes Infinite Grace. Valedictum the leader, 100 metres to go. Infinite Grace, Shania Dane are flying home. Valedictum in front though. Valedictum took it out 3/4. Infinite Grace, Shania Dane. Kelvin flew late. Then Nicanero close up in the field, Rockford Bay and Ike's Dream. Further back, Sam sung a song, and they were trailed then by Titanic Jack and Stamen. Desert War.
50-1 winner, Sky Cuddle. We're not far off here. Stephen King and Danny O'Brien for the 2nd time today and the 3rd time this week, and Stephen King.
Desert War has worked hard in the red colours, 3 out. Shania Dane is travelling well right behind them. Up on the inside then came Rockford Bay. Further out in the middle is Nicanero Activation, Titanic Jack, and Valedictum coming down the outside, and Ike's Dream is trying to get out. At the 300-metre mark, Shania Dane has hit the front from Miss Potential. Tackled by Nicanero on the outside, and Valedictum picks them up in a couple of strides. Valedictum has hit the lead now from Shania Dane. Infinite Grace with a late run on the outside, but Valedictum in front, and Valedictum scores a half length to Infinite Grace. Shania Dane is 3rd, and 4th home in the middle is Calvin, followed further back by Rockford Bay. Then Nicanero, Ike's Dream, a gap to Sam sung a song, followed by Stamen.
Valedictum 32.90 and 8.50 for Steve King. What a week, Danny O'Brien. Infinite Grace, no luck, $4.70. Shania Dane, every chance, $1.60. Steve, a quick word on Danny O'Brien, because he really is going to be one of the long-term players. He's a great young trainer with a good staff and a good team around him.
No doubt, I think he's distinguishing himself by being able to target horses for specific races. He said many weeks ago that Flemington would be his preferred arena. He wasn't worried too much about Caulfield. He said, went on public record as saying, I believe that Flemington's the best track to race my horses on. He's been very single-minded, very focused, and I think that's a mark of a real...
Back. This horse has had a huge weight drop, which helped him in this handicap conditions with the 52.5 kilos on his back. He got a nice track into the race through Titanic Jack, peeled off his back. He held Infinite Grace in the Gold Cat with Glenn Boss on the outside, charging home late there, in a pocket at the top of the straight. She doesn't like racing inside horses. She did her best work once she got out behind Valedictum. It was a terrific ride, and
Calvin again.
Irish Darling, $26. Pure Silence, $23 with number 7 Ascana scratched. Then Big Odds down to Coalesce, who's $15. And then NZ, who won on Tuesday, is $16. And Duro Valley, very much in the market.
And Joe's been very solid in the betting. Bush Honey's a drifter, and also drifting is Duro Valley, but the four of them have a point between them on track.
Okay, well, that's the first page on screen you can see there. And Bush Honey under the odds here. Ridiculous odds in New South Wales and Queensland. Bush Honey, but Glenn Boss rides. It's won by Makybe Diva 3 years ago, brother, and shown by David Hall. And Luke Cave was the winning job on that occasion. Bush Honey, 480, that's unders. Confectioner 5.
They're away. Confectioner jumping better today. Coalesce began reasonably well on the outside, now is driving forward. Pure Silence, Command and Conquer, Studebaker away quickly, so is our Smoking Joe. Bush Honey's handy to them as well. Here's the first turn coming up now, and Confectioner went back with about a half a dozen behind him. Out to the 2000, Pure Silence working around the outside, goes to the front, led by 2 lengths to Studebaker. Our Smoking Joe a length away in command, and Darling NZ, and then Lester Thundering at about 3 to Grey Song. 700 left to go, and Pure Silence leads 3/4 to Studebaker coming around the turn. Our Smoking Joe on the inside, and then Coalesce. 2 lengths further back, Bush Honey now taken to the outside by Boss from Southern Crowd, and Command and Conquer battling as they corner, with Confectioner making ground on the outside. Into the straight, and then came Doru Valley. Down towards the 400, Pure Silence gone. Coalesce and our Smoking Joe hit the lead together from Studebaker. Bush Honey next, and then came Confectioner. It's our Smoking Joe though at the 200, getting away from Coalesce. Then Bush Honey, Confectioner battling away down the outside, but our Smoking Joe, it's going to be Lee Friedman again, a pick-up ride for Noel Callow, and it's our Smoking Joe racing right away to win it by about 4 lengths on the post to Coalesce. Bush Honey and Grey Song in a photo for third from Confectioner, and Command and Conquer next to finish for Southern Crown, Bisbate. Studebaker didn't stay. Back doing Irish Darling, Pure Silence went very hard, he stopped, and then at the end of the field is Special Scene and NZ last.
What about that? Noel Callow, no hands for a moment there with the reins between the teeth. He is a last.
Smoking Joe back to the inside, 2 lengths further back then, running on fairly well out in the centre is Confectioner, and Bush Honey going with him. But our Smoking Joe hits the front at the 250 metre mark. He's a length in front now from Coalesce, followed by Bush Honey, Confectioner. Nothing making ground because Joe is home and hosed. Our Smoking Joe, the pick-up ride for Noel Callow, 3 in front of Coalesce. Then Grey Song from a long way back, but it's our Smoking Joe striding away to win 4 lengths. Coalesce second, third Bush Honey or Grey Song from last to the photo, then Confectioner. Time to sack him now, then from Command and Conquer further back, then Southern Crown, Bisbate.
Yeah, we just missed Noel Keller there, about to put the reins in the mouth and do the Cossack job there on our Smoking Joe. 662.50, Noel Keller, Lee Friedman, 7 for the week, 3 Group 1s.
This horse is interesting me a lot now. I, like everybody else, had my doubts about him yesterday because I think the handicap has been very harsh on him. And but he's won at Queen Elizabeth with 57 by 4 and nearly taken the course record. This may be a Cup horse next year.
Of course, this was the race Makybe Diva won Lee 3 seasons back.
Yeah, slightly different circumstances. I think she won it with the limit, but that's what makes this horse's effort so impressive.
Of course,
the horses. He ran the 2,500 metres out on his ear yesterday.
Yeah. Will he back up in the Sandown Classic, Lee?
I'll think about it. I don't really want to back him up 3 weeks in a row. I think I'd probably rather give him a good spell now, a reasonably light autumn, and set him for the Melbourne Cup.
It's been fantastic for Costa de Lago too, Lee.
Yes, the dear old boy. We had great success with him, and he's proving an absolute superstar as a stater now.
Smoking Joe for Noel Kello, beating Coles and Grace on Cossack Act, which cost him $1,000. Lee, did you know Noel was going to do that?
No, but when someone said to me, what will he get, I said he'll get 1,000 at least, so I got that right.
Well, if you haven't seen it, that.
Well, he's quite a character smasher, and you know, for him to go and whack the buckle in the teeth, if the horse had dipped and gone down, he would have lost a couple of front teeth, that's for sure. But
Johann's Toy at $8.60, $31 at the barrier on Tuesday. Danalaga for David Hayes, 17. Quintanilla, 42. Astrodame, 12.
Trainer, 380 on the tote, no surprise there, better in the ring. There's the totes on screen, open race away from Stormlight and the tote. The best value on the first page there is 5. Bally Blur is firm for Danes in the market, 13.70's value. And down the bottom, Stutology at 17.50 and Palatine.
Pipkin didn't jump all that well. Astrodame began very fast and is up there dicing for the lead early with Aqua de Moore and Celtic Rise. Danalaga settling fourth on the outside. Storm Alerting, Wild Iris creeping around the outside of the field. And then Palatine Hill is only in the 600 metres. And further back is Full Spec as they corner from Pipkin and Quintanilla. Now Skylove led narrowly around the turn. Storm Alert reached her very early in the straight, and Valley Blues got there too on the outside. Then Johann's Toy and further back in the field, Astrodame. Danalaga weaving through. Aqua de Moore's making ground on the rail. 300 left to go. And Storm Alert the leader. 5 at a length to Aqua de Moore the inside. Then Valley Blue can't go on. Satology runs on. Then Johann's Toy. Storm Alert has the lead at the 100-metre mark. Satology is running on fairly well down the outside. Storm Alert in front. Satology is lifting. Storm Alert, Satology, they hit the line together. Satology's grabbed Storm Alert, I think, with Aqua de Moore a length and a half away third. Johann's Toy fourth, and then Palatine Hill, Danalaga, Quintanilla ground.
Storm Alert, you can see the margin is clear, probably a half a neck, with Aqua de Moore in third placing. So Stephen King looked home for
Aqua de Moore. Storm Alert the leader. Suitology trying to pick it back. Storm Alert in front. Suitology dived at it. Might have got up in the last ride. Suitology to Storm Alert. Not much in it. Johann's Toy is third. Then further back, Aqua de Moore third. Fourth home is Johann's Toy. Then Quintanilla, Danalaga. Further back,
Matty Pumper wins on Suitology for Bevan Lemming. There's the Interstate Dividends, New South Wales and Unitab.
Hamilton and
$8.40 is spot on. Honolulu at $12.40 is about $4 worth of value. And on the second page, we'll look at Elton John here. Opened up favourite on course, has been pretty easy. $4.50. Bookies will bet you $1 better than G.I. Jane. $15.10. It's been a good firmer and is $3 of value at that quote we can see on screen. Elton John tote favourite, well, has been very, very
good. Of the listed Kevin Heffernan Stakes. Just about ready. Line is good this time. Stand, they're racing this time, and Mr. Magoo, one of the first to break the line. Son of Dame, well, he's gone straight back to a clear last, recapitalised second last early. Poet's Voice out running, landed in front of Mr. Magoo, followed by Air Cool, further out Honolulu. Brannigan was putting a good clip on in front, led 2 lengths. Brannigan got across to be second, a length and a half third, Mr. Magoo, and a half then to Honolulu fourth. 2 to G.I. Jane, a half Air Cool, 2 to Bomber Bill, a half then Dandy Kid. They're strung out from further back Elton John, inside it unabated to recapitalise, and Son of Dane last of all. 6.50 out before the turn, coming to the corner now, and Poet's Voice by a good 2 lengths. Brannigan a second when they turn for home, followed by Mr. Magoo on a lead. Then a gap to G.I. Jane, Dandy Kid, well back was Air Cooled. Elton John a mile off and recapitalised 15 lengths from them. 400 to go. Brannigan after the leader, Poet's Voice, and he's looming quickly. 2 to Mr. Magoo from Honolulu, and then further back unabated. Here down the outside, old Bomber Bill is winding up. Look at Bomber Bill come with the run. Poet's Voice in front. Bomber Bill's got him. The 10-year-old, he's hit the front now. Honolulu going with him with Air Cooled. Bomber Bill in front with 50 metres to go. Unabated late, but Bomber Bill wins 3/4. Good on you, Bomber. Second is unabated. Third home, I'd say, is Air Cool, followed by Honolulu. Then further back, Son of Dandy Kid near the tail. Bomber Bill. Age shall not weary them. 10 years of age. Trained in the bush now at Warrnambool by Maureen Harry. And the grand old fella, he's just sprinted up to them quickly, taken the lead.
Here he is, $16.50, $4.30, $3 unabated, $2.30 air-cooled, $100.80 the Quinella.
Third home, I'd say.
Exactly right, Liam. Good on your bomber. He's had 23 riders. He's had 5 trainers. Started his career in WA as a 2-year-old and won at his first start. Has won in every year since then to 2005. And Peter Mertens was aboard. Peter had not ridden. Now, Poet's Voice really reeled off a couple of quick sections coming down the side of the track. That suited the back markers. You couldn't say anything about the beaten division. The best horses won the race. And Maureen Harry taking over the training from Warrnambool. And the old boy has loved the beach process, and he's come through with a great win from the
defeat unabated air-cooled. Now, I love these sorts of stories.
I'm absolutely delighted for Maureen Harry and for Peter Mertens. They've both given, you know, a lifetime.
He was well placed at weight for age in that type of field, and you take nothing away from him.
Maureen Harry for the Shannon's Sandown Classic. Grey Song at 5.60 matches up pretty well. $1.60 has been a touch easy on course. $15.30 about Soy Cowboy, that's a touch of value. Uprise, rock solid, $6.90's value. And Alana Song has come up very short here in Victoria, well, short of blown away by Wayne's performance, so much so we didn't get your tips for the Classic.
It was fantastic and worth.
They're ready now. Hugs down to the rail. Uprise a bit fractious. So's Alana Song. She's up in the air and a 10 and gives the boy a hand there. Stalls are back and they're racing. Alana Song missed it about a length and a half, and Zacello, Kinjal, Hugs Dancer and Natural Blitz bounce quickly. Right behind them, Roman Arch and Uprise pushing forward in the centre. Here from the outside is Expunge and also Wild Classic coming over. Down to the winning post, the third circle, they race 9.50 out. Zacello by 2. Expunge is second, a length and a half. Natural Blitz, there's no change. Fourth is Uprise and fifth on the outside, Wild Classic. Kinjal's got up on the inside of Roman Arch and 2 lengths to Court Courting. Then came Grey Song, Hugs Dancer the fence. To Alana Song, then came further back Requisite and Soy Cowboy last of all. 600 out on the turns. The Cello tried to go for home. Expunge is right on his hammer coming down the dip of the 500. They're 2 lengths in front there of Uprise to third from Natural Blitz. Then Roman Arch into the clear, followed by Kinjal. Then Wild Classic and further back Court Courting. Expunge got its head in front of the 300 metre mark. Roman Arch starting to wind up down the outside. Here he comes. He's coming with a great run, Roman Arch. Little Roman Arch has got to Expunge and he's going for home. Roman Arch, he shot 2 lengths in front of Expunge, Zacello. Grey Song with a late run out wide, but it's Roman Arch's Classic. He wins 2.5 lengths of the run home. Grey Song got second, I think. Expunge third from Wild Classic fourth. Then Court Courting, Zacello from Hugs Dancer, a gap then to Uprise, Alana Song, Kinjal. Well back in the race, Natural Blitz, Soy Cowboy, and Requisite is last of all. Roman Arch comes home to win the Group 2 Sandown Classic today. Through his wonderful career, and it has been a wonderful career, he's raced in everything. Down through the years, he won a Toorak handicap. He's been over the 3200 of the Adelaide Cup. He's contested some of the best Group 1 races in Australian racing, and here he is probably peaking. In fact, you'd say he's peaking at his career as a 7-year-old by Archway from Celestial Option. He's a 480 and
today in a row. Bruce Noel Callow wins the major distance race on the program, the Victoria Derby, the Queen Elizabeth, now the Sandown Classic. And this horse has been quite remarkable by Archway.
This time he's won beyond 2,000 metres. Of course, he raced in an Adelaide Cup and also a Melbourne Cup of...
Didn't he have him covered a long way out? He was just trucking coming to the turn.
They went along at a fairly good clip, Ronnie.
Yeah.
I mean, Zacello led, and it was a fair clip. I didn't think it was overly...
Robbie's done a great job with him. It's his first win.
On with the favourite, number 1, Testifiable. To beat Fusieshi Sanders.
To get almost double that on course here by the bookies. It has been a wobbler. 3, Kin Charm, 19-4. In Melbourne, he's number 6, Million Lad. He's pretty new on the scene all around. He was his last start to win here. We have seen Testifiable lead in races as a 2-year-old, but more so out of...
Ready to run, stalls are back and they're off and running this time, and Kayambi on the outside and Zagato bounce quickly. Lancet is travelling up towards the front from Fusieshi San, and Testifiable going back, followed by Aztec Smitzer and last of all Carey Granite. Zagato at the 1400, a half in front of Lancet. They're followed by Million Lad up to third from Fuji, and Testifiable is last on the inside of Kayambi. They've dropped the pace in front out on the top circle. They race this time with 9.50 to go in the Guineas, and it's Zagato a half in front from Lancet second. Million Lad is over on the inside of Hillfar. Fusieshi San out 3 deep, a length and a half Carey Granite. In the middle is Aztec Smitzer and King Charm 3 deep. A length further back in the race then Kayambi and Testifiable still last of all. 600 out on the Guineas coming for home, and Zagato straight second to half length in front of Lancet, and they put a bit of speed now. 2 lengths further back, Fujiishi Sand from Hillfar. Million Lad further back than Aztec Smitzer. Testifiable a mile from them, and KMB down the outside. 400 to go. Sagotto in front, tackled by Lancet. Then Million Lad, Fujiishi Sand, and here's KMB and Testifiable trying to get out, followed by King Charm. It's still Sagotto in front. Million Lad getting off the fence. Out wide and out, KMB with a run. Aztec Smitzer, KMB going up. Million Lad has crashed. Million Lad has gone down. Out wide, KMB getting to Sagotto, and KMB gets up to win the Guineas. Ahead on the line to Sagotto. 2 away, third maybe King Charm from Aztec Smitzer, then Testifiable, Hillfar, Fujiishi Sand, and last of all on the inside is Carey Granite. And 2 of them are down. Let's have a look. Million Lad has... looks as though he snapped his leg, and the rider of Lancet, Dan Nicklick's been out to win Million Lad, but he has snapped a leg right here with 150 to go.
The same gusto that he showed at Flemington.
I can see Blake Shin coming back. Now Blake's walking back. Of course, he rode Million Lad. He seems okay. There's some distressing scenes with connections of this horse, Million Lad, who was only having its third start today. And it appears it will be put down. Its third start today. And it appears it will be put down... Million Lad after incident scenes there. But timely win in the Sandown Guineas for Kayambi, trained by David Hayes. His first win in the race. His father Colin won it 4 or 5 times. Galleon.
Lad had to be put down after shattering a leg. Blake Shin very lucky to escape any serious injury, and Dan Nicklick hanging on for dear life, but eventually succumbing on Lancet with about 50 metres of the race left to run. David Hayes, it's the 4th win for the Hayes dynasty from South Australia. Wayne Dunn brings up a winning double for him. It was a lovely ride. A great effort, really. Million Lad certainly was either going to get close to winning the race or run the first 3 for sure. But KMB, given the speed of the race, put up a magnificent performance. I've got no doubt she's a very good filly, and David has found the key to her riding her back in the field and finding cover.
By the terrible incident regarding Million Lad.
Yes.
It looked as though it was really going to be in the finish.
It did, and he was under major pressure at the time. KMB winning the Guineas there by Dane Hill out of Laurel Grove. She's worth a lot of money now.
Oh, yeah.
David Hayes has had another very, very good spring, I have to say. He's won a couple of Group 1s. He's won the Sandown Guineas now, so
the stable's going very well.
I just think that the Sandown Guineas, there seems to have been very few really good horses come through it these days, and I just think that it's a lovely race, but I don't place too much importance on the form out of it.
What do you think, Ronnie?
Oh, definitely. Look, Million Lad, who I think was looming up to be figuring right in that finish, is just won a maiden in Sydney. It's only his 3rd start in a race. The second horse, Sagotto, is a Class 1 horse. So you can make a case to say that, look, that isn't a strong race, but there's a couple of merging types here. Look, the filly that won it had no favours. She drew the outside barrier. She jumped too well for her own good because she has to be ridden back. He had to keep dragging her back off a slow speed, and I thought there was a lot of merit. It was a dominant performance. She was far too good for that lot. I like Sagotto. He's an emerging and testifiable. Look, nothing went right. The slowly run race getting back in the field.
Sandown Guineas, Binding beat barely a moment in Elmerher. 2003 Pay Keys beat Ike's Dream and Delzeo. I'm not disagreeing or agreeing with you. Moondragon won it in 2, particularly out of last year. The format of the Guineas from 12 months ago stuck up pretty good.
Yeah, there's always a couple of horses come out of it, but, you know, I just don't know how you transfer that form. The next time you're going to see them is in the autumn, and they can be totally different horses. I just think it's not a race I follow closely.